Welcome everybody to the High Voltage Podcast. I am RJ Cashmere, and I'm back again with my niggas, and we're here to chop it up about a few things that went on during the week and beyond. So let me let y'all know who we got here. We got my man from the Goonie brand. Say what's up, Ascension.
Hey, what's good, y'all? How y'all doing this week?
Of course, you know him from So Not So TV. Your boy UptownTre.
What's good? What's good?
And from Rex's Ranch and the High Voltage Twitch stream, Rex Numero.
Hey, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
He's coming with some new language for y'all every week, man. But we are back in this. How y'all doing, man? How's y'all week been? What's going on in the world with y'all?
Dude, it's been chilling, still working from home, doing that quarantine life, trying to make the most out of it, keep your head high and all that.
Isn't that crazy that we still in this, man? It's ridiculous. What about you, Trey Rex? How y'all feeling?
Best as I can be. It's been, 6 months?
I know, man. It's pretty rough all around, man. It's pretty rough all around. Yeah. Rex, you good? Hanging in there?
Yeah, it's crazy because I got laid off, but I'm just like chilling. I'm unbothered.
Feel you, man. Just gotta remain calm, not get too high, not get too low. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head up. We all been there, but then you know what happens. God works in mysterious ways. But I've been good, of course. You know what I'm saying? Turning the big 2-9 on Sunday, so I'm turning up this weekend. You feel me? Getting older out here. It's kind of a wild thing to even say that I'm 29. I just don't even feel that old. But that's what's taking place. And Squad got the W this week. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that a little later. But first, what we're gonna get into is, we like to talk hip hop here. Of course, the last couple of weeks we've been analyzing a few things. And one of the things that we analyze are these versus battles. And we've been getting some really, really good matchups recently on these versus battles. They kind of took the quality up a little bit, made a deal with Apple where they got it on the Apple stream now. They got the artists next to each other in one room now, and they kind of curate a playlist together apparently and stuff like that. And so it's a little more of a better show. And they got some good pairings and stuff that they put together. This time, we got Ross, so Ricky Rose versus 2 Chainz, a.k.a. Titty Boy. That's what we have on the agenda. How y'all feel about that, man? How y'all feel about this versus battle coming up?
I mean, personally, I feel like it's going to be interesting. I know who I feel like might win this. I've seen people pull from either side. It's going to be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be interesting as well. Ross and Chainz are interesting artists to go against each other because I feel like they're kind of still current a little bit, but they're still at the same time veterans who have an established way of working the game. Both of them are Southern Titans, but I feel like a lot of people feel one way or the other very strongly. But I think the strongest reaction I'm seeing is that a lot of people think that Ross is just going to wipe the floor with 2 Chainz, basically. Like, I heard somebody say something like 17-3 out of the 20 songs. So that would really be, one of the worst ones. But what do you say, Rex? What do you think? Or just what do you think about the verses in general? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you think it's a good matchup, like Ross and Chainz?
Yeah, I'll say so. It's pretty even. I'm trying to think who really would have the advantage, but I don't know. They both got like the same amount of hits to me.
Really?
Pretty much.
That's an interesting take. I don't think that's wrong necessarily though, because they probably do have like the same amount of hits and then you throw in features and all that type of stuff. I think they have like almost almost the same amount of like stuff. But I think when you put them side by side, I think Ross probably has the better and bigger hits, maybe the more impactful ones. Like when I think of like Stay Scheming, when I think of BMF, when I think of like, Nine Piece, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you also got to think about 2 Chainz has a lot of features. He has Mercy. He has
Does have
It's
Mercy
hard
and
to name.
stuff.
There's a lot of features 2 Chainz has been on. The songs he's been on with Drake. There's like a lot of big songs 2 Chainz has touched. If you're thinking about like a long career, who had the longer career, who came out with consistency over a long period of time, Hustling came out a long time ago, and Ross can still drop a song and people are going to pay attention to it. So there's something to say with that, where like a lot of people are saying Ross is going to take it, but you can't sleep on 2 Chainz at the same time, because 2 Chainz does have a history. He has catalog. He does have Duffel Bag Boys. He didn't have a lot of songs that were really big holding out there, but you got to think Duffel Bag Boys. You got to think about Riding Around and Getting It. You got to think about those early songs that kind of took for just 2 Chainz, and then like when he moved from there to bigger songs, like I'm Different. He made that whole Mustard beat like really take off. Like you heard Rack City, then like I'm Different really solidified Mustard because it was somebody else, whole different coast, whole different area. Still flipped that beat and people loved it. So you got to understand, 2 Chainz really, you got to put some respect on 2 Chainz' name. Personally, I feel like Ross is going to be the guy that takes this, but I feel it's going to be a lot closer than people are really putting out there.
And you know what? That's kind of been the vibe of the last few ones. Like everybody thinks there's like one artist who just has like the bigger hits or the more impactful classic hits, and the other artist kind of comes in and like reminds everybody like, yo, I got some joints that are kind of undeniable too. But I'm kind of trying to look at 2 Chainz. Like, I mean, you mentioned a few. I just think Ross just has just so many. I don't know. I mean, like, you think of what's Teflon Don as an album. I mean, you think of Every Day I'm Hustling. Like, what's he gonna do when he plays Every Day I'm Hustling?
He got feds watching. 2 Chainz got feds watching.
Yeah, you gotta think. You got feds watching. It's a vibe. Good dank. No lie. At 4 a.m. Big amount.
No,
Watch out.
That can't
Birthday
be.
song. Remember Birthday song?
Yeah,
Birthday song hard. Birthday song hard.
Took over.
Birthday song hard, but
Motherfucking right. I love them strippers.
what about what's the joint? Super High, Ross. Super High. Or the joint? Call me on a late night.
That joint that he did with Big Sean, where Big Sean actually had a good verse. That was like the only good Big Sean verse ever.
KO.
That
yeah, that joint.
he could play KO.
I feel like it's gonna be a lot closer. It's like 2 Chainz has songs. 2 Chainz songs. There's songs that you resonate with. Also on top of that, Ross might have bigger songs, but you're gonna resonate with 2 Chainz gonna drop. So you're gonna like vibe with it. It's the same way like when they had that early verses where it was like French Montana and what's the name? Tory Lanez. French watched him because French, although you might not be looking at French like he's that guy right now, French had songs. Half of what he played wasn't that big, but he still had a bunch of songs that you resonated with. When he plays Stay Scheming, you're gonna rock with it. When he plays Shot Caller, you're gonna rock with it. 2 Chainz has that same effect, but I feel like 2 Chainz is gonna be able to go a lot longer than French able to go.
Trey, how do you feel about Ross versus Chainz? What do you think about that as a matchup? Just what are your thoughts, and who do you think may pull that off?
First of all, excuse me, I had to get my burger.
I see you, man. You got to get that food in you.
Yeah, because I had to get my mood up. I was like, I haven't eaten dinner. But what was I about to say? Oh, I guess it's a cool matchup. I guess with Titty Boy and Rick Ross.
I was gonna say you have to differentiate which Titty Boy.
I was actually playing BMF last night. Hadn't heard it in like I don't know how long, but it's like that joint just takes out his whole catalog. I mean, it's the game changer from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't. And this might be just me. I still don't get the verses thing because they're not really challenging each other. It feels like they're just playing their music on like Spotify back and forth, and there's no prize money.
That's what it's turned into. I mean, I feel like Versus first started out like originally. It wasn't even called Versus. It wasn't even a thing really. It was just you was in quarantine, niggas was bored. Swiss Beats and Timberland, like they've done before, I believe, just had they were like, yo, let's get on Instagram and have a battle, a beat battle or whatever. And they just ended up playing like different, you know, like low-key tracks in their catalog and shit like that. And they just started going back and forth, you know, on some shit like that. And it ended up being big and popular.
Right.
They started just putting like other people together to just, you know, kind of to do it. And, you know, it ended up becoming popular because they started putting like interesting people together like Neo and Jonte. And then like, you know, T-Pain had one. And then it was like reviving certain people that we hadn't heard for a while. And we're like, damn, you know, we get to appreciate their catalogs. And not only do we get to appreciate their catalogs, like, you know, we get to see them kind of stacked up against people that we always wondered and debated amongst ourselves. Like, how would it look if they went against each other? Like, how would it look? Like, who's actually has a better catalog? Now,
I feel like it would be better if they did like the NFL and NBA does, where they have like a cheer button or a boo button, where like people play their songs, where you get like an app for it, and they like, now how many of y'all vote for change? And it's like, oh, they pressing the button. Or how many of y'all like Rick Ross, and not enough people pressing the button? That's how you determine who wins. Like, are we just having a good time? You know, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Because the NFL isn't like that, or the NBA ain't like that. I know this is rap, but I'm just saying.
Right. Now I agree, and you know, I think it's this whole Swiss Beats like vibe thing. You know how, you know, all the niggas from like back in that day kind of got older, and now they're on this kind of like peace love vibe thing. And he's that, you know, unity hip hop thing, which is cool. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but I mean, that's what they're on right now. And you know, it's kind of like just to make people not feel bad, I guess, about participating. They're like, oh, it's a celebration. But to be honest, amongst the people, we debate it and we kind of give a winner. We kind of be like, yo, this nigga won. This nigga is slapping this nigga over here. And, you know, people interact in the comments and stuff like that. But but I think the interesting about this is like what I was saying earlier is how, like, you know, both of these rappers are kind of current because they're kind of still putting out music a little bit. They're not putting out as much as they used to, I guess, but they're still putting out music. But they're also still like real vets in the game. Like both of these guys are over 40. Like both of these guys as rappers in the game are 40 plus years old, which actually brings us to another topic, which is the top 40 over 40 list. Have y'all seen this list?
All right, so I looked at this list, and I do not agree with this list. This list was put out by levelmedium.com or level.medium.com.
Yeah, Level.
There are a lot of rappers on this list that I like, but when you add the over 40 aspect, it's a little bit different. There's some people on this over 40 after they turn 40 where they really did not drop anything relevant, and they have them up there pretty high. Like when you have Too Short at 39 and Blow Your Whistle came out after he was 40, that don't make sense. How is he at the bottom of the list when Blow Your Whistle can go off at any moment? I think about the fact that what's my favorite word, and you know what he's saying after that. Everybody in the club saying that afterwards. I love Busta Rhymes as a rapper. You can't take away what he's done in his career. But what has Busta Rhymes done after 40 that's bigger than Blow Your Whistle? And you can say like the Q-Tip joint is cool, but like it's still not bigger than Blow Your Whistle.
Look at me now. That's huge.
Was that after 40? He's
Yeah.
48. He's 48.
Look at me now. That's definitely after 40.
That was less than 8 years ago?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know about that. We gotta look at that again.
We gotta look at that again. But let's say this. Okay, so you say that thing about Too Short. Let's read the top 10 at least. The top 10 people over 40.
Okay.
For context. So we have LP. LP is one half of the Run the Jewels collective. After 40, he released 3 projects, all with Run the Jewels. the best one of which was Run the Jewels 3. The best song is Thieves. Number 9 is Styles P, which I personally agree with him being in the top 10 at least, because he's one of those people with a huge output after 40. He's released 12 projects after 40. 8 of those are solo, 4 of them collaborative. His best.
Who's this? E40?
Nah, Styles P.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not like E40 or 12.
No, E40 is
I know it does,
ridiculous.
right? It's Ghost. Yeah. So, you know, he released Presence, which is his best one, and is apparently his best music moment after 40 is beating up on my man Dave East on their joint project. Dave East apparently couldn't keep up. Ross is number 8. He's released 2 projects post him being 40. Rather You Than Me is his best one after 40. And Santorini Greece is apparently his best song. Eminem is number 7 with 5 albums released. Music to Be Murdered By, his recent project, is his best one. The Ringer is the best song he's released. Ghostface Killer, number 6, with 10 outputs. 8 of them are solo, 2 of them are collaborative. The Brown Tape is his best one. Rise of the Black Suits. I'm pretty sure Trevor's happy about that. Killer Mike, he's number 5. So this is in top 5. Killer Mike, Run the Jewels. Black Thought, number 4. We got Pusha T, number 3. We got Royce the 5'9", number 2. We got Jay-Z, number 1. Where do you think that 2 Chainz fits on the, Too Short fits on the list, given that top 10?
Like, who would I take out of this list to put in?
Or would you put him in the top 10? Or or just higher than where he is right now?
I would put him higher. I can't say fully within that top 10. The top 10 is kind of tight. I can't knock LP and Killer Mike because they're definitely relevant to a degree. They've had their highest level of relevance after they turned 40. Like, you can't knock the fact that I knew Killer Mike from the whole world. I knew of him, but I didn't really know Killer Mike really being the lead or running shit until Run the Jewels. So you got to rock with LP and also Killer Mike on that. Styles P, I know he went in on that record with Dave East. There's not a lot of big songs, but Styles P is like an underground type rapper. Like, that's his style. Like, he's known to be lyrical. He's known to kill you with lyricists. He did have that big song, I Get High, like when we was younger, hearing that giant was a big song. But like, outside of that, he really hasn't gone for that lane, and that's just him. So I can't knock him being on that list because he's consistent.
He's on Locked Up, man. He's on Locked Up.
Yeah, he has moments. He was on BMF also.
BMF?
After 40, I'm not as aware of a lot of his stuff, so I can't really say he really deserves it. But at the same time, the level of output he's done, you got to give him that. You look at Ross. Ross, out of his last 2 that came out after 40, I'll probably give him 1 for one of them albums, like Rather You Than Me, because the one before that, even him himself probably be like, I was.
What was the one before that?
I can't fully remember, but that was the one he was trying to get off Def Jam. He basically said, I'm trying to get off Def Jam, so I just released some music, and boom. The last joint had some relevance to it. I still didn't check for it too heavy, but I'll give it like it actually was kind of cool. Ross albums are normally dope. They have a good feel to it, a good sound to it. As far as M on this list, it's hard to argue against M. I'm not the biggest M fan. I listened to his last album, Music to Be Murdered By. Didn't really like it, to be honest with you. But I did rock with Lucky You that came out after he came out 40. And the thing is, I'm not the biggest Joyner Lucas fan, and that was like the first song I kind of rocked with Joyner Lucas, which says a lot.
That's the one where he was just going in and spin bars.
Yeah. So like on that aspect,
like every Joyner Lucas song.
Yeah, but like on that aspect, I gotta rock with M. Like M's M. He's doing him, and like he's doing. Hey, I can't knock him. Ghostface. He a legend. He's been doing it for years. He's 50. He came out with 10 albums since then. So in essence, it's like an album a year average. I honestly haven't listened to much outside of when like Wu-Tang was really booming. So I really can't knock him, but I'll give him the fact that he's been going for that long.
Well, you know, I think the thing though about the list is like I think they value the output after 40 and still being able to you know, at least put out stuff that connects. What do y'all think? I'll open it up to everybody else too, like just for everybody's thoughts. Like, what do y'all think about the list in general?
This list was definitely written by some hipster at Complex.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it and they had like some rapper named Ishmael that I never heard of on it.
Yeah, cool.
They had Royce the 5'9" in the top 10, which is I don't know. Like,
no, you wouldn't put Royce the 5'9" in the top 10?
I think maybe because I don't listen to Royce the 5'9" because it's not 2009. So,
but he's better now. You don't think so? His best rhyme, Book of Ryan and Prime.
You know what it is?
After 40.
It's because rap is such a young dude's sport. It's like basketball, or maybe like it's like basketball in similarity where you like I don't want to hear Royce the 5'9" rap. I don't want to hear Eminem rap because one, they're rapidy rappers and it's kind of goofy hearing them. Like I don't want to hear that. You know, like we talked about last time, like Fonte. I didn't even know Fonte was 41, which is crazy. Thought he was like 50.
Of course. Like, 50, damn, you put the age.
Yeah.
I say subject matter has always been on some like he's rapping like he's been through it all already. Like
yeah, that's
like
true.
The last pandemic, like he's rapping like that.
Yeah,
you know? And I think the only thing they got right on the list was Pusha T. I think that and Jay-Z, of course. I mean, I knew Jay-Z was gonna be one. I mean, that wasn't even like hard to think. They had Rock Marciano at like 40 or 38, and they said his best album was like an instrumental album, which was absurd. How was your best album, an album that you're not even rapping on? That was straight disrespect.
What is the thing? He hasn't put out much like post 40. A lot of his stuff post 40.
Rock is like 42, but he put out like 3 last year. He put out like 2 the year before. True. They said his best album was the instrumental album he came up with like last week or something like that. That's wild. And I think the Too Short argument, I mean, I only know like 3 Too Short songs. So, I mean, I can't argue to put him any higher than that. I just know 2. And, I mean, I guess you can put him higher for his guest appearance in Men's Society. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He was in that. Yeah. But I don't
you gotta think about like after 40 though.
But yeah, after 40, I don't know nothing. That's why I said when you were naming like those 12 albums, I'm like, was that E40? Because he's the only person I know who comes out with like 2 albums just to cheat the system. He comes out with like the cookbook, the chef.
E40 got 22 albums since he turned 40, and he's 52.
I'm gonna ask this question.
He comes out with like a double disc every time. He's like the cookbook, the chef version, the cookbook, the kitchen version.
I mean, I do value the fact that these guys could put out music now and put out a lot of music and all that good stuff. But it's kind of like Trey is saying, though, like, how much do we know from it? Because, I mean, like, to be honest, like, I see why Jay-Z's up there. After 40, he's put out the most noticeable music. I see why Pusha's up there. After 40, he's probably been the most relevant as a solo artist. I personally can see why Royce the 5'9" is up there because all his best projects has been of recent, and it's been post 40. So that's when he's getting the most love. When you start saying people like Eminem, Rick Ross, no. Like, Rick Ross, just the 2 ones he did was Rather You Than Me and then Port of Miami 2. And no one cared about either of them, really. Like, Rather You Than Me, people kind of was like, okay, that's cool. But, like, Port of Miami 2, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? 2 Chainz, post 40. I can give 2 Chainz a post 49. Busta's been in a few, like, features and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. This list is very, it is kind of confusing to me a little bit. What do you think about it, Rex?
Like, my biggest, like, problem with the list for real is that, like, Snoop Dogg is not in the top 10. And, like, he was on one of the biggest songs, like, after 40, like that Lil Duval joint. And, like, he's not on there. And then Fat Joe isn't in the top 10. And then All the Way Up was, like, one of the biggest songs of, like, that whatever year that was that came out. So I'm like, that's kind of bullshit. And then Nas is on the list at all. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Nah, and he's on like
Nas
20
on the
something
list.
too. He's like 24. He wilding. I don't know about that. I mean, I'll give him though. Post 40, I think he did. I think
Bruh,
like
don't
he
even
did
try.
post 40. He made,
Like, don't anything Nas put out post 40 is automatically trash.
that's true though. That's true. But
Oh, wow.
I mean, Jada Kiss. I think Jada Kiss could have been higher. He's number 17. To me, Jada Kiss post 40. He's probably one of the most consistent rappers of all time. Period. Like, when has Jada Kiss not been nice?
Damn. I kind of want to put it out there, though. Busta Rhymes' Look at Me Now verse came out when he was 39.
Ooh, damn. That knocks him down a lot. That knocks him down a lot. Because, like, what else did he put out? I don't even know.
You count that.
That twerk song? Because that shit was terrible.
Exactly.
What else?
I mean, Busta Rhymes still making twerk songs, like.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But, like, this is not the diss Busta Rhymes, though, because Busta Rhymes, a legend, came out leader of new school. It's just after
Easy.
40, it's a little different.
Why is DJ Quick number 16?
Because I think he still produces, I guess.
Okay.
Like, he produces for, like, YG and people like that.
Fat Joe is 14, so that's pretty relevant. Raekwon 13, he did put out another classic post 40. They
Which
do.
one? What?
Only built for Cuban links niggas too. They do say
That
that.
came out in his 30s.
For real?
Yeah.
How is he 13? What the fuck has he done?
Pretty sure that came out with, because that came out. Yeah.
So then how? Okay, so now I'm looking at the list even more.
Exactly.
I'm like,
Yo,
Pretty sure
that don't even make sense.
How do y'all feel about Common on this list, though?
He was like 39 when that came out.
Common is active in certain ways. I mean, let's see. He put out Nobody Smiling. Nobody Smiling was a dope project. Like, it was underrated. It was pretty dope. It wasn't like Common's greatest hour or anything like that, but it was a solid project. He's on mad features. He's acting and stuff like that. I mean, he does a lot of songs with like John Legend. He's in every one of those like black movies that has some kind of slavery or civil rights aspect. He's on one of those songs with John Legend. I mean, he's active.
I'll be real. Them John Legend songs be going. Like, they actually be getting traction. Like, your fan be knowing about it. Like, yeah, Glory, that's a song.
I'm trying to tell
Every
you.
movie got that joint in there. Like, I can't knock it. I personally don't really check for a lot of Common stuff. Seeing that he's 48 is really the surprise for me because I'm like, I didn't know Common was that old. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to knock them John Legend songs because they be getting traction.
I mean, like, I'm just looking and I'm just really thinking, like, how in the world? Like, okay, Fonte is 18. I think Fonte's output, as far as Little Brother post, I mean, like, he has one album, I guess, two. He's 18. What was that big to put him that high?
Honestly,
Above Snoop.
I think it's whoever wrote the list. Because look at the rappers on that list. It's definitely whoever works at Hip Hop DX or an OK Player who wrote that.
OK Player, damn, you pulled that drag.
Yeah, because it's Fonte on the list, it's LP and Killer Mike. I don't know nobody that listens to Run the Jewels, bro. So I'm like, who?
Nah, I mean, okay, I'll say this.
Got mad following.
Personally, I don't.
You know who their following is.
Personally, I don't know who listens to somebody. But a lot of people do listen to Run the Jewels, though.
Yeah, the majority. But we're not gonna get into that though. But that's what I'm saying. That list, of course, Snoop Dogg's now on that list. Like, come on now, like I don't. Of course, all Wu-Tang is on that list except You God because they hate You God. And
the Deck is on that list.
But they put all Wu-Tang on that list almost. You see LP and Kill Mike on the list. They still ranking Andre 3000, who has no solo album, and they put him on the list.
I don't know why he's on the list. I don't know why Q-Tip is on the list. What is Q-Tip?
Yeah, Q-Tip. I'm telling you, it's because whoever the demographic is listens to. Like, I mean, they got MF Doom on the list. MF Doom hasn't put out an album in 10 years.
Yeah, I just don't know what warrants the praise there. Because I mean, like Q-Tip did put out the Tribe album and I guess the solo albums or something like that. But like, were they that huge to put him above like certain people? Like, I mean, Fabulous is on this list. He's only 42. Like a lot of these people are only like 42 and 41. Like hasn't really done much post 40 to be honest. Like Nas is 24. I mean, he's 46. The Lost Tapes 2.
He
Yeah,
did
I don't
come
know
out.
about Nas on that jank.
Like
You gotta
what?
think about the Lost tapes. Those are like old songs to begin with.
Like it just doesn't make sense. Big Boy is 25, and I think post 40, he has a lot better records than a lot of the people on this list. Post 40, he actually has solo albums that are actually good. Post 40, that actually made noise and did shit.
I ride with you. How you feel about Ye?
Ye, how old is Ye? And I don't know what he.
Ye's 42. He has 4 releases. They said after he turned 40. I know at least 3 of them is gonna be Jesus is King, Kids See Ghosts, and Ye. For Life of Pablo does not
That
make
is
the
Pablo.
cut. Does not
Yeah.
make the cut.
All of those are trash. Pablo's not trash. It's like everything else is literally trash. Like actually garbage. He should not be number 20. Like I think they just had to put people on here because Missy Elliott. What I don't even. What? Like you know what I'm saying? These are all legends that they have on this list, but to me, post 40, none of these people outside of like Pusha, Jay-Z, Royce, Snoop, like have really like Big Boy have really like done anything post 40. Like Cameron, what's Cameron done post 40? I don't know. I mean, Purple
Haze too.
And y'all listen to that? Y'all fuck with that joint?
It just has the Max B song on it. That's it. And it sounds like typical Max B, like keep rising to the top, keep rising.
Juicy J, like I don't know. Yeah, this list is for the birds. One that Ascension mentioned, Puff Daddy or Diddy or Love or whatever his name is these days, being number 40 or even being on the list at all. I mean, to me, I think he should be on the list. I mean, he's old. He's done some things. I don't know where he exactly should fall. I don't know exactly what his last few ones. I think Last Train to Paris was actually pretty good. Diddy Dirty Money. That joint was hard. I can't lie. That joint's got dope. He had some singles off there that were big. Hello, Good Morning.
Yo,
Their best thing. That was
I'm
a
gonna be real
huge
with you.
song. Like, you might be higher, low key, than some of the people we mentioned. Like 3 Stacks.
Compared to some of the people that were mentioned, I'll kind of give you that. But outside of that, I'm not going to co-sign any of them Diddy releases.
For real? Those joints was
Angels? You remember Angels? Do you remember Angels?
Angels wasn't as good.
That was a single. That
Yeah,
wasn't just a single. That was a single. Then he had the remix drop.
But it was big.
Ross killed the remix.
I didn't like it, but it was big.
I'll be honest. Diddy probably was not the best part of those releases. If you really like are honest about it, like everybody else around it was killing it, but like Diddy's.
It's that
like,
dirty money.
Exactly. Like you take Diddy off from singing that joint, and it's still a joint. Diddy, I mean, he did what he did, and that joint kind of went a little bit. But if you really listen to it, you're kind of like, come on, Diddy, is this really you? How much auto-tune's on right now? Like, what is
Rex,
this?
do you fuck with Diddy being on this list?
I mean, I can't really say anything that Diddy did recently, but I mean, I guess he can be on the list because he Diddy. I mean,
he did put out that MMM project. Remember Money Making Mitch? He put out a single with like Pharrell to Get Loose joint. He did that for a second. He had the Bad Boy reunion tour. I don't know, man. Like he did a few things. I'll say this. At least they're acknowledging older people in their craft who are still like, still doing it at, at least a pretty high level. At least, Busta Rhymes can still put out a project and still do it in a quality level. At least, people like Big Boy and all these guys that are on the list can.
And then shouldn't Birdman be on the list? Like,
hell no.
He shouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Hell no.
He's been responsible.
Wasn't he on the Young Thug songs?
Barely.
Playboy. Rich gang.
Famous and dangerous.
Miss Gladys.
His hands together. But people, getting older in their craft is something that is not always appreciated, but especially in hip hop. And I think it's cool that they're giving them that look and, acknowledging that. And speaking of people who are aging and doing well in their craft, gotta give it up, guys. My guy, man, the king, LeBron James. The NBA is back in full swing. We had our first 2 games the other night. It was Pelicans Jazz. We started it off. It was very good, very entertaining. Ended up being a 2-point victory at the end for the Jazz. And then the game of the night, the rivalry game. Los Angeles Lakers, the big-time champs, versus the basement dwellers, the Los Angeles Clippers, who ended up losing, taking the L to King James with the gray in his beard and all that. It was beautiful. 0 positive tests in the NBA bubble. It looks like it's very successful so far. What are y'all's thoughts on the games? What are y'all's thoughts on the NBA starting back up? How y'all feel?
Yo, so I've been watching the games. I watched the first game. Everybody's talking about how great it was seeing NBA again. People's main complaint was like Zion. Zion only played in several bursts of around 3 minutes. I believe it was the third quarter. They kind of pushed his burst a little bit longer, and also in the fourth. You could tell he wasn't fully in shape to run game speed. Because, like, at one point, they kept playing him, I want to say, in the fourth, and it kind of looked like he was looking to the bench like, Coach,
He was gassed.
he was gassed. I ain't going to fake. When he was playing and he wasn't gassed, he actually did okay. He had decent numbers as far as his shooting and stuff like that, getting in the paint. He didn't play that many minutes. I want to say he played around like 15 minutes, but still got in like almost like 15 points, with maybe like 12 points, 13 points, roughly around there. He didn't really help out as far as assists per se, but you can kind of look at the fact that he didn't play that much, didn't get a chance to get in rhythm. The rest of the Pelicans, they actually look nice. They fell off at times, so you can tell that they had like a youth issue, but you have J.J. Redick to step in.
Brandon Ingram looked like a monster out there.
Brandon Ingram looked really nice. He's like contract. Brandon Ingram, like, give him that money. He gave him that, give me that money.
Yeah, if you want that bread.
So that was a good start. I ain't going to fake, but like, and then you follow up that with the Lakers-Clippers game.
Woo.
Lakers-Clippers was interesting for several reasons. You got to look at the fact of who didn't play for the Clippers and who didn't play for the Lakers. The Lakers basically played every main person they have. Nobody from the Lakers you can make a face, but you got to think AD played. You got to think LeBron played. You got to think the fact, what's his name? Caruso played. Caruso played big. I always want to hate on Caruso. Good. Caruso played big.
That's my guy. That's the goat.
I do really want to say LeBron played 34 minutes, went 6 for 19 with 16 points.
That is true.
I will give him his 11 assists and 7 assists and 11 rebounds, which is like, that's still decent numbers. But for LeBron to put up only 16 to a game that you win by 2, he came in clutch at the end. Sure. So you got to think about that. Before them last second shots, he wasn't even at 16 points. So he went most of the game without really making a lot of effect as far as scoring. Maybe you can give him assists for that, but it really was on AD. AD has to really carry this for LeBron to get another ring. And then when you see things like that, you can make a all you want, but AD definitely put up 34 points.
Oh, I'm definitely responding to this, but I want to hear everybody else.
8 rebounds.
I want to hear everybody else's thoughts too on everything else that's going on. But I'm definitely gonna respond to this after I get everybody's thoughts. 1,000,000%.
34 and 8. You gotta understand, like, Kawhi put up 28 points. Paul George put up 30 points. They kind of spread it around. One person, Marcus Morris, did not. I think it's Marcus. I don't know if it's Marcus or Markieff. Markieff, they're kind of like, I get confused. They're on like each other's team.
One of the twins.
He did not put up any points, which really sucked because he can really score. And the thing
is, every single time he played us. Every single time.
Him being able to show up would actually help out a whole lot. Patrick Beverley stepped up. He only put up 5 points, but you could tell he's very active. Was really big on defense. I mean,
they did a lot of things just to take an L. They did a lot just to lose.
You did not have Lou Williams. You did not have
Chicken Wing Lou.
Chicken Wing
Lou. Lemon Pepper Lou.
This is a 2-point game. A 2-point game.
Lou wings them.
A 2-point game without Lou. Are you going to tell me that Lou Williams would not have made a difference in that?
Nah, because last time we played him and Lou Will was in there, he was a weak link because we went at him on defense for the whole 4th quarter. He couldn't stop nobody. We put him in pick and roll on Bron, and we got the dub last time we seen him in LA. So I'm not scared of Lou Will. You know what I'm saying? Montrezl Harrell, okay, maybe, but I'm not scared of Lou Will. I'll respond to all the other points in the second because I'm pretty sure I'll go on for a while. But I'll open it up to Trey and Rex. How y'all feel about the NBA being back in the games that we've seen thus far?
I thought it was cool. It was kind of. I mean, well, it didn't seem too off. They had the cheering, the fake cheering in the background, so it didn't make it seem like they were just playing another like pickup game.
Yeah.
And the games were really close, so that was cool. They were exciting. They weren't any there wasn't really any drop off in the energy. Everybody looked like they were, they were glad to be back out there. I don't know what the score is tonight because the Mavericks, my team, they playing tonight against the Rockets. I don't know what the score is right now.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm assuming that they're up right now. But I heard that the Lakers only have to win one more game out to be number one. So.
Oh yeah, we already won it. That was last night. That was it.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, we good now.
Well, I mean, you're not winning the championship, but.
I guess I gotta respond to two people now. The Mavericks are up, by the way, 85-75 at half on the right.
There you go.
Rex, how you feel about the NBA being back? The games that we've seen so far, have you caught any of them?
Well, I didn't get to see the first game with the Pelicans because my power had went out, so I took a nap. And I left and I went to watch the game. I went to watch the Lakers game at my grandparents' house, and I was watching really I was paying attention at the end of the game.
True.
And I just seen this man LeBron was cooking. And I was like, yeah, LeBron just doing him how he always do at the end of the game. And I know this man Paul George was cooking too. This man Paul George was making every 3-pointer. I was like, damn, young. People forgot Paul George could hoop. I don't know how they be faking on Paul George. He's not nice. But Paul George will cook you. But LeBron is just the GOAT, so of course he won the game. And I mean, I don't know. LeBron is probably old. He of course he don't his hairline gone and shit. So
yeah, you can see that bald spot in there. But let me attempt to respond to all of you guys as far as the Lakers. I think the Lakers look very good on the opening day, all things considered. We've had how many months off now from playing basketball? A bunch. LeBron has gray hairs in his beard. He has no Beijing. His hairline is gone. The bald spot is showing and glistening on TV. But he doesn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? He's out here. He looked great in the scrimmages. Now, I will give you this. He did look a little bit, I wouldn't say old. I think what I saw was Kawhi Leonard is one of the greatest defenders of all time, and Paul George is not far behind that guy. And they both are taking on LeBron. Not only them, they got the Morris twin in there. They got a bunch of bodies that they could throw at LeBron. And yeah, LeBron's older, so he can't take all of them off the dribble every single time. But he does have a guy named Anthony Davis who's a fucking monster. He leads the team in points. He leads the team in everything but assists, which LeBron leads in. And AD went off. He did for only 3 quarters. You know how many points he had in the fourth quarter? 0. 0 points. A grand total of 0 points. So, no, AD cannot carry the Lakers at all because if you look at all of the Clippers games that we've been in, he's had 0 points in those fourth quarters. 0. But you know who takes over in the fourth quarter? That guy that Rex called the GOAT. LeBron James. Yeah, he old, but you know what he has on these guys? Experience, basketball knowledge, and IQ. He pulled up for that shot at the end of the game, either saying, hey, I'm about to get fouled and go to the line. And he clearly saw, hey, look, this lane is open. If I miss, I have a lane to the bucket. Nobody on the Clippers boxed out. He went straight to the bucket, laid it in. They had a chance to win. Kawhi had 3 seconds. or however many seconds they had, and so did Paul George. You know what happened? The GOAT of the game right now, Bron, stepped out on Kawhi, got in the defensive stance, and Kawhi picked his dribble up. Passed the ball, gave it to Paul George. You know what happened with Paul George? He got stood up by the same guy because Bron switched right on to him, strapped him up, and he missed the shot. Game over. Lakers win. Now, I'll say this. Okay, Lou Will wasn't there, Chicken Wing Lou, but I just told you how we could beat him. No non-factor. We don't really care about him. Trez, okay, Montrezl Harrell. He'll give you a little body in there to maybe rough up AD a little bit. How much scoring is he giving you? Yeah, he'll probably give you some points. Against AD, though, not much. Against JaVale and Dwight Howard as well, on top of that, nah, that's not going to happen. You know who played well last night? Or for the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma played well. Dion Waiters played well. Those guys got buckets off the bench. I'm not worried about Trez. I'm not worried about Lou Williams. We have J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters, Kuzma, and Caruso, who all played in the plus, and their plus minus was all plus, all of them, while our starters are all negative. So we played the worst game we played all year and still beat them by 2, and we're down one of our best defenders in Avery Bradley, who's willingly sitting out for the entire thing. We're not getting him back at all. They will get their players back. Now, to me, yes, okay, Bron didn't have the impact scoring-wise, but he did everything he needed to as far as rebounding. He did everything he needed to as far as setting our guys up and getting those assists. And when it mattered the most, when the game is on the line, he made the shots, he made the stops. That's why, to me, Lakers all day, man. We are the best team in the bubble by far, and I think it's not even close, to be honest. I think we're gonna get the championship. I think we're probably gonna play. I don't even think Giannis is gonna make it, to be honest. I think it's gonna be like Lakers versus like either Celtics or the Raptors. But I'm happy to see the NBA back. It's pretty dope. Zion, now he looked good. I heard somebody said that Zion is getting the minutes that you would get if you just get a fresh my player. You get a brand new my player. He's really getting those exact minutes. Like, he's getting in the game for like a couple minutes and then he sits the whole end of the game when it really matters. Like, he wasn't in the fourth quarter at all. It was a close game down the stretch and they didn't have Zion. Like, how can you hold Zion out of a situation like that? Now, that begs me to question, is this guy healthy? Why did he leave the bubble for real? What is really going on with Zion out here?
I want to say when I seen Zion playing, he walked a little bit better than he normally walks, and he ran a little bit better. I pay attention to his walk the whole time because he walks really wild. What I will say also, he was not in shape. He looked like he put on a little bit of pounds since the last photo came out when he was big on shape.
He did.
I put a lot of weight on, but he put on some weight. So in essence, when he stepped away, I don't know what he had to do. If it was family emergency, I'm not going to question that.
True.
But like outside of that, it's like he put on a little bit of weight. He obviously didn't get to the level of training that he had been doing for a while. So he had to step back. Honestly, I do feel like if he's in shape, it's going to be different. Playing a few games, he'll look a lot better. I don't think the team has the opportunity to play a few games to kind of get him to that speed. The rest of the team around him actually looks really nice when they're playing in sync. They have moments where they slop off, where they kind of F up. Outside of that, if the rest of the team can kind of carry it for a game or two, I feel like by the third game, Zion's going to be in there going in, and it's going to be interesting.
Will it be a little too late by then? You think the Grizzlies will have a big enough lead on them where they won't get to play in and all that?
It's a possibility. But, the NBA wants to see that.
They do. I know they do, and I know they're disappointed that Zion even had to leave at all. And I kind of agree. I thought I was the only one who noticed that. So I didn't want to be petty, but I feel like Zion did put on some weight since that photo. He did not look as cut, and it was very noticeable that he was a little bigger and he was struggling out there. And so I don't know, man. Maybe this weight thing might be a thing. Like, Sean Kemp, kind of very similar to Zion, man. You know, he was like an athletic type dude, jump out the gym, big athletic and all that. But he struggled with the weight thing, and that ended up like doing him in, man. Like, so we'll see. But I'll say one thing though, at least the NBA out of all the leagues, they've seemed to have had the most successful comeback. Like, we've had 0 positive tests at least 2 times in a row now. You know, they have their quarantine system down for people who leave the bubble and re-enter. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they're keeping tabs on literally every place you go outside of there because they found out that Lou Williams is at the strip club. You know what I'm saying? And so they're keeping a tight ship. And it looks like it's going off without a hitch. And we'll probably finish it, it looks like to me. Like, we'll get a champion and all that. There's some other leagues that's not so great with that. And that's going to be like the MLB. And the MLB, Jay just started up. And it looks like already like a bunch of games have been canceled because people are getting COVID-19. Like, what do y'all think about the other leagues who are trying to start back up? How do you feel about their potential for success or failure with doing so?
Which leagues? You talking about WNBA?
Well, not WNBA because they're still kind of along the same lines as the NBA, but mostly like the baseball, like, you know, Major League Baseball, NFL. I mean, I don't know what NHL is doing, and you know.
I think NHL. I think they got some type of bubble situation.
That makes sense that they would have a bubble. MLB though, like it looks like, well, not looks like they shunned the whole bubble idea. Apparently, they wanted this non-bubble idea. I mean, I guess that goes with their game, but now they're all kind of paying for it and suffering. They're traveling, you know, still normally like they would if it was a regular season. But how y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I heard that like players got together and they kind of fought to not have a bubble situation. They didn't want to be confined in one place. They kind of have to play there. In hindsight, you can look at the areas they were trying to be in, possibly Arizona or Texas, which have actually a high number of coronavirus incidents going on right now or cases going on right now. So you look at those areas and it's kind of like, I get it, but at the same time, they're moving around.
20 G's to anybody that don't get it, you know, because I think what kind of, like when I wrote what I put on Instagram, kind of pissed me off because it's more like, you know, we're so stupid and just like, you know, cover your face. Like the fact that they were going to open schools and it took them this long to make a decision about it kind of made me mad too. You know, we got a little cousin, my son or daughter go to school, but they like, well, you're going to have to go to school because school open. You know, little things like that. And it's like, you know, a lot of the decisions being made from the president even down to like the mayor or councilman, like not in DC, but like just in places in general, it's just based on stupidity and ego. Like, you really trying to say that that you're smarter than a virus that you can't see? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And like you said, the only way people get it or understand is if they catch it. And that's unfortunate that so many people got to die. And I think it's because it's not even that many people who actually have it. Because how many people in America? Like 300 million, something like that? But only I think it's less than 1 million people in the country who have it. It's like 500,000 who have it. So it's still less than 1% who even have the virus. But that's only the people who've been diagnosed and actually been to like hospitals and been checked out. We don't know who else has it and didn't have any symptoms and then they got over it or they asymptomatic right now. So you can't just go by that. But I couldn't have other people tell me like, nah, it's cool. Because I mean, I got cousins, they've been to parties. They've had things. They're like, well, we're in social distance because, like you said, it's your birthday tomorrow, or like in 2 days, right? 2 days.
Yeah.
But they like, well, I had to have my birthday party. You know, I don't care about social distance. It's my birthday. I'm like, would you rather skip one birthday, and so you can have like at least, you know, a few more? You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't even that. That's it. I don't miss going to the bar. I don't miss going out to whatever new noodle restaurant opened up on you.
I feel you.
Or like going to these different spots, so like beer gardens or whatever. I don't miss none of that. I'm actually glad I don't have to go to none of that stuff because none of that is me. None of that's my personality. I did stuff for pussy. It's not anything that I want to do. Right? None of that stuff I truly like. And now I got an excuse not to do any of it. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I miss is just actually being able to leave the house whenever I want to. That's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of like you know, that stuff ain't cool anyway. All I want to do just make money and travel. Like I don't even care about none of the other extra stuff.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, definitely. Being
I gotta wait for a purpose, like bro.
Yeah, definitely being in the quarantine. I don't have much complaints about like just chilling and stuff like that. Like I'm cool with like now having my birthday, like, you know, in the crib. Like I'm not complaining, but like I could definitely understand like, you know, the feelings, but like at the same time you just gotta think about, like you said, more than just one birthday. Like it's not that serious to just like have to like go somewhere to something. Like it's the day, the day is the day regardless, you know what I'm saying? And like whether you go to a bar or you sit your ass right there,
you know what I'm saying? And then like
same thing.
You're missing one party. Like how many you about to be 29? You've had 28 other like parties before then. Like
Exactly.
Like you know what I'm saying? I've missed a couple where I had snow day. My birthday's in December. Like people not even trying to come out the house for my birthday.
Right, shit.
I just like, well, another day and Christmas is 6 days and nobody around. Everybody run away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, that's true.
Bro. So like, it's not even that serious to throw your life away for something like, well, I'm just gonna live my. Well, like, you gotta live your life because you want to go to the bar or you want to go to a crowded beach. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that. It's not even that serious. Just wait. It's like if it started in March and they said they might have a vaccine by like as early as October, you know, if they get like the emergency joint to let it be like given to public use or whatever, that's not even that long. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been less deaths if people would just be like, well, you know what? Good want to get through this. That's what I said. The commercials. All that is bullshit. Like we in this together. Like no, worry about your family and your friends and your loved ones. Like all that, them Apple.
Well, you know, all that's just
You know what I'm saying? None of that is like that's not.
It's a lot of propaganda in there. Like I don't want to sound like I'm on the political end of it, but like if you look at it, you were saying numbers. There are 4.64 million people that had positive tests in America, not the world, in America, that had positive tests. 56,000 deaths. And not everybody that's catching it really is doing it by like, I don't want to wear a mask. A lot of that stuff was early. I heard one story that was early on in Prince George's County where this girl, she was, I think she might have been mentally challenged, but she liked working at the grocery store. And then the grocery store did not provide gloves. They didn't provide masks. They didn't provide hand sanitizer. But she wanted to work because everybody else was calling out. She's like, I want to be there for them. She died. And then her last check for like working a whole week was $20.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Got to work in essential jobs where like they have to feed for their family. Unemployment might not cut it. They might not do it for them. Like they might
where you have like a country that's so, you know, these ideals and, you know, things that they say they based on, you know, like it's, you know, it's America. Mental health problems. You know, you said like she might have had a condition. She's making $20 a week, and her job won't even provide protection for her to work, even for that little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? Like people, like you said, people working in like factories and stuff, where they're working at like Amazon or things like that, like these essential workers, and people won't protect their workers. You know, it's almost like, all right, they you know they expendable. You know what I'm saying? And that's the craziest part I don't understand. Like you want things like he said, the economy's gonna suffer. We gotta open things up. Like of course the economy's gonna suffer. Like niggas is dying out here. Like who you gonna have buy your stuff if half the population is dead? You know what I'm saying? Or who is gonna want to support a company like say for like Amazon? Because I wasn't buying stuff from Amazon for like a minute when they were on the news every day. But you know, I don't like him and shit. Like you know, you want to open up your Tesla. Nobody needs a phone. All kind of shit. Nobody needs an expensive electric car. You don't need your factory open. Niggas don't need all the shit that is costing people money and putting people in debt and now niggas is dying over it for real. It ain't like niggas dying over in the hood, killing and robbing each other. Now niggas is dying because niggas can't afford shit. Niggas can't eat food. Niggas can't feed their families. Niggas is dying from a virus that in hindsight is pretty avoidable if people just follow basic like rules. If people just said, you know what, I'm gonna cover my mouth. I'm just gonna stay away from this person. I'm gonna keep my distance. Cause you shouldn't be up on nobody anyway, bro. Like
that is true.
Like, in the grocery store, I actually had to leave Safeway one day. I was trying to get bread, and I walk in there, and then everybody had a mask for the most part. I mean, I was still kind of nervous, and then the only job nervous because one dude, like, he had a mask on. He yelled at me from like down the aisle, was like, "Hey, excuse me." And I didn't want to look at him because I'm like, bro, this nigga is behind me. I swear to God. Like, but he had a mask on. He just wanted to know where I got like a bag of ice from or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't talk to him too long. I was like 8 feet away from this shit. But then I was like, let me go get some bread. I want some hamburger buns or something like that. And there's a lady with no mask on screaming at the bread. Like, no bullshit. She like,
why do you expire on this date?
Yo, she's like, no more of this bread. All y'all fat asses eating all the bread.
That sounds like some Family Guy shit.
Bro, son, she's yelling at the bread. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, yo, I left the store. Like, I got my ice and left because I was like, now I can't touch the bread because I don't know if not, yo. You know what I'm saying? It's wild shit like that. Like, why are you? And she was like the only person in the store with no mask on, but she was screaming at the bread. Like now niggas can't eat bread. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, territory. You know, like she could be like mentally. I mean, she's already like mentally ill for doing that, but like I feel like there was a darker motive to it. Like if I can't have bread, nobody can have bread.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild, bro. Like that's the only thing I like about the coronavirus thing, that I get more crazier stories when I go out. So I have something to laugh at to an extent, but it's still like, bro, like I can't leave the house right now. I gotta go back inside.
We are literally in the twilight zone, man, right now. It's a crazy time, man. Like I remember when I first saw everybody, like when we were going out, everybody was wearing masks and stuff, and I was just like, man, look at this. Like this just looks crazy right now. Like everybody's just walking around with masks on and stuff. Like, is this what it is? And now we're at the point where it's
it looks crazy.
Yeah, now it's just the new normal. You know what I'm saying?
It looks normal, like, you know what I'm saying? I posted the thing. They like Ralph Lauren got like Corona masks now. I'm about to cop one when they drop. You know what I'm saying? High fashion. You know, if you know what I'm saying, Supreme drop one or Gucci drop one, I'm gonna get one because they can't be that expensive. You know what I'm saying? They mad.
Hey, Supreme gonna mark that.
Let them
up.
try. That trying to be 185, man.
They gonna mark that joint up.
Let them try.
Son, the Ralph joint got the filter in it. They got the little joint in it.
They got slides for like $800. They got like flip flops, like these little flip flops and shit. They be having them for like fucking $800 and shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like that would get people to wear masks too if you tell them it's like some high fashion stuff. Like niggas would wear it. Like you like, oh, you got the new Yeezy mask, or new Gucci, the Louis Vuitton.
People already making fake Gucci and Louis.
You got a new off-white mask that says mask on it. Like people wear it. Like I'm telling you, you sell stuff like that to people and tell them that it's high fashion. It becomes like a social state or whatever, something like that. Like a social status, people will wear it because now it's not even about being safe. It's about I'm better than you now. It's always going to be about the ego because this is how people. It's always about it's always about me. It's always about you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you tell people that, or you tell them like, oh, like this mask symbolizes your status above somebody else. People will go for it.
To quote the great Kendrick Lamar.
Nobody wants to look like they sick, but people look like they rich.
Yeah, I feel you, but like my whole thing is I don't know who started it when they started saying like it was against God or against Jesus to wear a mask. When they made it very political, I understand like the Republican Party kind of made it political, but like I don't know. Like it's against Jesus to wear a mask. Like people really believe in their religion. They really believe in their pastor. I normally try not to knock people in their religion, no matter what you are, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, or anything like that. But you gotta chill if you listen to some nigga telling you can't wear a mask because of Jesus. Where in the hell in the Bible does it say not to wear a mask? Because
Do they even have masks in the Bible? That's why it's not in there.
it's like, what the hell?
It's probably something that has to do with like, you know, just like how we are naturally and how we were born, and we were born masked, and people never had masks, and blah 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 blah.
Say about stuff like that, and I hate when people, because as a Christian, I hate when people try to misconstrue things about it, and it makes me look crazy for believing in something. It's kind of like, I mean, you can say that for anything. It's like saying, I'm not going to use rubbers because rubbers aren't in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't natural. Like, they use condoms back then.
I mean, a lot of religious people do say that, though.
But that doesn't justify out here catching clap or HIV or anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, when people say things like that just to justify whatever they believe in, you know, it's not based on real. It's just, I'm going to say these things because I feel more comfortable, and they'll believe me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when churches, like some churches, not all churches, where they were having service when they said, you know, this virus spreads because people are in these packed spaces indoors. And people are like, nah, we still going to have service because God is here. I'm like, no, God wants you to follow these rules and stay away from each other. Now, like you like, you know what I'm saying? That's like spitting in God's face, because you like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Like, this virus can't kill me. You know what I'm saying? Now, like everybody in there, now that church don't exist no more because they ain't. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the wildest thing in the world, son, because you would be a better Christian if you were practicing patience, if you were actually telling people to be safe, if you were actually telling people to do the right thing and protect each other and not be selfish, because a lot of churches were trying to keep open because there was money being lost and because people couldn't handle the fact that their social commitment for the week on Sunday was being taken from, because honestly, like, my grandma was going through it at first because, you know, church is a big thing for her on Sunday. We get to see your friends. You come in there. It's not just the spiritual part of it, but there's a social aspect to it as well. And so when that's gone, they're like, well, who do I talk to? Like, I'm in the house. I don't get to go to many places anymore. You know, church was my outlet. And so now that's gone. And when your pastor says something like, oh, we're going to have church on Sunday regardless, and we ain't going to wear masks, we're going to be in here singing, acting like it's normal, and everybody in there could be negative, but it only take like one or two people in there to be talking the whole time, spitting, and that shit ain't going nowhere, and now everybody got it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the worst thing in the world. And how would you feel if you were somebody's pastor and you told everybody it was going to be all right? Don't worry, you don't got to be protected, you don't got to be safe. Just come here like you do normal, it's going to be all good. And now your whole congregation has it, and it's all your fault. Like, how can you even show your... How could you even be considered a leader of men and women knowing that you led them astray? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, we talking about, like, these pastors, bro. Like, we talking about Creflo Dollar, son. This nigga got dollar in his name, bro. He don't give a fuck.
That's true, though. Nah, he right. Like, pastors out here, like,
that nigga is trying to make money. Like, that nigga don't care about what the Bible actually says, bro. And that's like a lot of these pastors, bro. Like, they just go to church and like eventually, like a fucking Ford Pinto, nigga. They don't even make that shit no more, y'all. And your pastor like got like a Gulfstream jet, my nigga. Like, what? So y'all wildin', bro.
Yeah.
Nah, that's true. Church is a business, man.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, church it's a business, man. Like, they're making money, tons and tons of money, tax free, by the way. But one thing that is coming from the quarantine that is, I guess, a little positive is people are, like you're saying, kind of getting that time to themselves. They're sitting on their butts, trying to find things to do. And one of the things that people are finding is Netflix. A lot of people are Netflix and chilling out here, finding good shows, good things to watch. They added some Black Lives Matter content and stuff. And speaking of that Black Lives content matter, they are expanding their venture into Black culture by now providing a few of the Black sitcoms that we all know and love and putting it on their streaming service. The first one will be coming tomorrow, Moesha. And then they'll be following up with The Game, Sister Sister, Girlfriends, The Parkers, Half and Half, and One on One.
Yeah, I know we're doing Black sitcoms, but when we do the Latin sitcom show, I just got to throw this out there. George Lopez and Brothers Garcia.
Yeah, George Lopez is definitely hard, and Brothers Garcia is definitely.
I hear you, son. I'll be real. I don't know Brothers Garcia, but George Lopez was one of those shows. Like,
Yeah, George. Ernie Buck, he be like, I don't want to die old and alone, George.
George Lopez is definitely a GOAT sitcom, and then Brothers Garcia, you definitely got to do yourself a service and go watch that from Nickelodeon, man. That joint was dope.
true.
Taina too. That joint is kind of hard. I don't think niggas.
I ain't seen that joint either, though.
Joint's hard.
I know about Drum, though.
But yeah, those are the Black ones coming to Netflix. What do y'all feel about Netflix bringing some Black shows, and are you looking forward to any of those Black sitcoms?
Yeah, I'll be real. I missed some of the names that you did. Did they have the Parkers in there?
Yep, they got the Parkers.
I like the fact they have the Parkers in there because, like, I was and there was somebody who 100% reminded me of Kim Parker. Like, she was 1,000% Kim Parker. To the point where, like, people that had not seen the Parkers, I'd be like, you've never seen the Parkers? I would literally go on YouTube and show them at least a part. Fully because the Parkers was that funny, because it was funny, but she literally was Kim Parker. Like, there's certain people that did not get a chance to see those shows that were really big on UPN that I remember from growing up. You probably remember from growing up. There's a demographic that loves it, but our demographic that's younger than us didn't have the opportunity because it wasn't on as replays the same way that Fresh Prince was or Martin was. You didn't have the options to see it as easy. If you knew about it, you can search for it, but it wasn't quite there. So I really like the fact they're adding some of these shows like Moesha. I can't wait for certain shows like, say, Steve Harvey to kind of get. There's more options of Black shows. I really like that.
I feel you. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to these shows too. Like, you know, Moesha, like you said, we all grew up on all these shows. Like, Moesha was dope. Always fucked with Moesha. Always fucked with the intro. You know, Brandy's one of my favorite artists to top that off. The Game. I used to watch The Game in college and shit, like after like classes and shit. Like, I used to get my Chick-fil-A from the student center and then go to the crib and then just, you know, watch The Game and shit like that. Sister Sister, another joint we grew up on, classic, staple. I've been dying for this to get on the fucking streaming service. You know what I'm saying? The Parker's hilarious. Half and Half, and like, I didn't really watch Half and Half like that, but the women are totally excited for Half and Half to come back on the streaming services. And then One on One, you know, Flex, Kyla Pratt, that was a pretty dope show. So I think, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's good that we're finally getting it. I don't know what took them so long to start getting a lot of these classic Black sitcoms, though. Like, why is it taking so long to get these? Like,
yeah, I kind of like the fact that One on One's coming back on because we'll get to remember Flex for something other than being Michael Jackson.
that was terrible.
That's something that kind of stuck in everybody's minds and eyes. And if you hadn't seen it, you need to see it.
Nah, you don't.
You need to see it.
You don't.
Don't watch the whole thing. Just get through it. Just get through it occasionally.
That is probably the worst movie. Oh my goodness.
It's not the worst movie ever. It's a bad movie.
We spoke about this before. I know we have.
It's up there. But it ain't the worst.
Oh, it's up there for sure.
Day is it September 11th? He said, this is going to be the most memorable day of my life. And they just cut to like the towers. Bro, I was in tears. I was like, yo. And then he just covered in baby powder. He looked like Chuck Taylor from Chappelle Show.
I can't believe they really put this man in the baby powder, though. Like, yeah, be white. Ridiculous. He played both Black and white Michael Jackson in the same movie. But that's wild. But Are y'all looking forward to the Rex and Trey? Y'all looking forward to the new black sitcoms that are coming to Netflix? And if you're not, or if you are, what other sitcoms are you wanting to come to streaming services very soon?
Now I had to step away for a minute. What were the ones coming to Netflix?
So we got Moesha.
Okay.
We got The Game. We got Sister, Girlfriends, The Parkers, Half and Half, and One on One.
Now, what is Half?
Half and Half.
Half and Half is the show about that was like half sisters, and then one mom was like rich, and then that other one was kind of like a hood rat, and then I guess they just met up and started living together.
Man, ain't that sister? Like, ain't that sister?
With more people.
They were half sisters though. They weren't
Kind
twins.
of, yeah.
That's like the only difference. It's like they were half.
And they were grown, so it was like more adult themed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that because the sister with just
The one chick from Half Baked.
Mary.
I can't remember.
Yeah, she was on there.
Yeah, Mary Jane from Half Baked is on it, and the other chick I can't remember her name.
Yeah, it's definitely very
And then like
popular.
Essence Atkins, I want to say.
That's
Yeah, like she's in.
Oh, yo, they needed Smart Guy. That's on Disney Plus. I still watch that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. I don't really watch Disney Plus like that anymore, but they should just move everything on Disney Plus that's good and put it on Netflix so people can watch those shows. Yeah, I would watch Smart Guy again. I'm trying to think, what's another sitcom? Like a black sitcom back in the day I used to watch. Cause at Taina, I just remember that she wanted to be a star. Man, that's the only thing I remember.
I wanted to see her name in lights, man.
That's all. Like Taina, that's it. It was. She's like the Puerto Rican girl that wanted to star. Dang, yo, that's. I see the Parkers. I actually saw the Parkers the other day for the first time because I got Sling on my Roku TV. Like since it's like downstairs not connected to a cable box, so I had Sling so I could watch the game. And I hadn't seen that in so long, bro. I mean, it was funny though. I forgot. It was still funny though. But I would watch the Parkers if I had.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing to do with it, but like I would watch the Parkers though. And,
I feel like Netflix.
They bring back 70s sitcoms, the 70s black sitcoms put them on Netflix. I would watch those. I would watch
those would be dope. Yeah, like What's Happening, Amen, and all them joints.
Yeah, exactly. I would watch those.
Yeah, Jeffersons. Yeah, it'd be hard to bring those back. I think. Yeah, that's a good comment. I mean, yeah, those are classics, man. They used to be. I don't know why there's not like a TV One or like what is it? Like what is the black channel? I mean, obviously BT. Right?
TV One. TV One or Bounce? Yeah, Bounce.
Own,
Bounce. WeTV might as well be like black television, I think. Bro. Like,
is that all on the BET streaming service, or do they have their own streaming services?
I think they have their own. Yeah.
And they have all of those like old black sitcoms and stuff on there.
I don't know about that.
Bounce is like some stuff where you go to like your aunt's house who don't have cable back in the day.
Yeah, I know about Bounce.
Shit like that.
Yeah,
but you watch those shows, you watch those shows until like Beastmaster.
Yeah.
That
took me back because it was an aunt's house, and then Xena would come on and he'd be like, "Oh no."
It was those days.
This is Xena.
Eating DiGiorno's and frozen pizza and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yo, do y'all remember the show My Brother and Me?
Yeah,
I remember that
joint. Y'all remember Cousin Skeeter?
Of course.
Yeah.
Y'all remember Gullah
We
Gullah
just talked
Island?
about Cousin. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yo,
of course.
if you had to choose out of all of those, one of them goes to streaming, which one would you choose?
Cousin Skeeter.
Yeah, probably Cousin Skeeter.
Cousin Skeeter for sure.
I feel like I remember that more. But My Brother and Me, the only thing I know about that is Goo Punch.
Yeah.
And like Goo Punch, and the older brother on my brother me is like a super crip now. That's the only thing I know about the show.
For real? Oh, that's wild.
You gotta look it up. Look it up. He's like a super crip now. So like,
I remember
like,
watching my
Yeah,
brother
regular
and
crip.
me on Saturdays on Nickelodeon and shit, and I remember same thing with Gullah Gullah Island. But the only thing I really remember from Gullah Gullah Island is like the frog Binya Binya, whatever his name was.
kind of sort of racist. The name Half and Half is for a black sitcom.
Yo, it's really racist if you're half black and half white.
I looked at it like Googling, I'm like, as soon as I typed in Half and Half, just came up with like the sweet tea, or pictures of sweet tea.
I was about to say, you can't call it Arnold Palmer.
I was like, no, I went for the TV show. It's like Half and Half.
This is
Oh, that's funny.
That's the best drink of all time right there, man.
That's hilarious, bro.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing these black sitcoms come to the streaming services, man.
Yeah.
y'all. I was gonna say, y'all remember this black show that was called The Famous Jet Jackson? That used to come on Disney Channel.
Jet Jackson.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Jet Jackson. I think
Yeah,
he
the
passed away.
guy died like a while ago.
Yeah, man. Famous Jet Jackson is, of course, man. Of course. State classic. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to go through like me and Rex were actually talking on the Twitch stream the other night about Nickelodeon versus Disney and like just the shows and stuff that they had, the cartoons, and like who wins, like, you know.
Nickelodeon all the way, bro.
And then we also threw like Cartoon Network in there too, like this Cartoon Network whole
It's a better
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network is better.
Yeah. I think that's the one we were actually talking about was Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network, and then we threw in Disney like afterward. But
Disney is like when nothing else is on.
yeah. But Nickelodeon,
they did have the shit. And
Disney
then I
had
think Berto
movies.
brought up Darkwing Duck, didn't Tailspin,
Yeah, I'll give you those.
Tarzan.
yeah, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, all that, man.
I was like, yo, low key, I was sleeping on
That's
Disney
like
Channel.
Toon Disney. That's like Toon Disney and all that, like Disney XD and all that.
Yeah. I mean, Disney has a lot of shit. Like Disney has a lot of shit. Like,
Yeah, he said Darkwing Duck though. Yeah.
hey, Darkwing Duck is the greatest.
Yeah.
Like what? But yeah,
Duck, all that.
we're gonna have to have that conversation. But we could do that next. We're gonna do that next pod. We might have to do that cartoon.
Chippendales.
So remember that, y'all. Remember that. But keeping it on the black side, Beyonce dropped Black is King, which is like a visual album inspired by that whole Lion King thing that she did like a year ago or so. And, you know, of course, the times and stuff like that. She dropped the visual album. Now, I haven't got a chance to check out the entire visual album, but I have seen the trailer for the album, and I have seen a few clips of like some of the videos. I've seen like her dancing with a few other dancers. I've seen Blue was in the video wearing the same outfit as her mom and shit like that. So, I mean, it looks cool. It's a good look for black people. How y'all feel about it?
Yo, I haven't actually seen the whole thing. I've just seen a couple of clips that are very short. I'm not sure how long the thing is. I heard it's a visual album, so I'm not sure if they took the whole album and just made visuals to it. I really like what I saw of it because it kind of brings me back to the time when I'm younger and I'm seeing Michael Jackson videos, whether it's Remember the Time or just about any Michael Jackson video that was like an epic thing. Like I wasn't really old enough to kind of understand it, where I wasn't actually born at some of the times when it came out, but they would actually shut down things. Like NBC was like premiering a Michael Jackson video. Like it's everybody stop. Michael Jackson video is going to be on NBC right now at 8 o'clock. Everybody cut this on. It kind of gives that feel of it because you're watching it and you're kind of seeing the dance movements. It's like an art. You're kind of hearing the music and the dance in there, and it's kind of outside of Beyonce, who's done it to this level. People shoot for like having Chris Brown up there to that level. Chris Brown's really dancing, can have hit songs, but they don't execute at the same level that you're going to see with Beyonce. And I'm not even like a big Beyonce head. I'm just not going to sit there and hate on it. Like I got to give respect where respect is due. She kind of came in, she did what she was supposed to do, made an epic moment. She did it with Disney. She dropped Black is King with Disney. You got to think about Disney as an organization. Like right now, they might be open, but Disney in the past was not open. Disney in the past Walt Disney has supposedly was racist. He was supposedly anti-Semitic. They made a lot of changes to kind of change from there, but you got to think about overcoming over time to drop something called Black is King with Disney. It's major.
I agree. I can definitely agree. Yeah. Not only has Walt Disney himself been an anti-Semite and racist, like their cartoons have depicted that as well, like in the past and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's a big move. You know, Beyonce, like you said, it's basically our Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's doing it to that level, man. Like her performance, you know, the music that she's making, and you know what she's doing that, you know, Mike didn't necessarily get a chance to do, you know, a lot because of the times, and obviously he's the trailblazer that, you know, that Beyonce stands on his shoulders. But it's like Beyonce is putting a lot of African and Black cultural things into her music and her dance and her outfits and just everything she's doing with it. And like, you know, we haven't seen that from like a major artist who's embraced by the entire world before. Like, you know, that's totally new. And I applaud Beyonce for that. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a Beyonce fan and stuff like that. Like she always been or not. But what do y'all feel, Rex and Trey? I know Rex, you said you saw a little bit of it.
Well, yeah. Well, I saw like the commercial that came on during the basketball game, and I was like really high, and I just remember like that joint stood out because it was just so wild, yeah. Like the commercial was just so random, yeah. And like the scenes that were in it,
yeah,
were just like, or at least the scenes that they showed in the commercial were just like, it looked like some Adult Swim shit. Like, you know how like they'll play like some random shit, like you like, oh damn,
yeah, like what is that?
It just catch you off guard because you just like, oh true, like that's how it was when I saw it. And I was like, yo, I might have to check this out. And like,
yeah,
usually I don't even check for Beyonce like that, but like I just felt like from what I saw in the preview, like that joint just looked like they put a lot of work into that joint. Like I don't know like what the premise is,
right.
but like the visuals nice and shit. I was like, okay, I got respect Beyonce for that. And yeah, like Elliot said, I mean, Ascension said she's on Disney Plus. That was the other thing. I was like, yo, that's crazy that they did put like a Black thing on Disney Plus. Like I could see them putting it on Netflix with Disney Plus. I was like, that's impressive.
I feel you. Trey, you feel the same?
Yeah, because I only saw the commercial too last night during the game. And like it did, like it caught me on. Beyonce, they're like, oh, they about to hype this one up. But when I saw like the commercial for it, I thought it looked like, I didn't realize it because it kind of like the Lion King at first, but it was like the live action version of it, not like on some cartoon stuff because it looked epic. I guess it kind of looked epic. I was like, okay, you know, like Jay-Z appearing out of nowhere, just like staring at the camera, and like, you know, it got the Black kids and the thing. It just made it seem like, oh, this is serious. This is like some serious stuff, you know. And it was like a music album, video, film, or something like that. And I was like, oh, they serious out here.
Yeah.
It looked good as far as like, you know, it sounds like it has something with some kind of meaning to it. You know, it's just not another, you know, dance joint or something that the girls are going to be like, you know, quoting on their Twitter for the next. I mean, they might be. I don't know. I don't know if it's
definitely will be, and they probably are.
But it doesn't seem like it's just that though, because I guess it's the visual part of it. That's what you're supposed to be focused on. But yeah, you know, it looked cool though.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I mean, I got some time this weekend. I'll probably check it out. My girl's coming over, so you know, we'll probably take a look at it and see what it's all about. But definitely think it's a big step, especially in this climate, you know, to have something called Black is King, like y'all said, you know, on Disney Plus. You know, that's that accessible by the biggest artists in the world. You know, it's very timely. So yeah, definitely kudos to Beyonce on that. We're gonna get back into some more hip hop. If you have been listening to our pod, you already know that we have a certain I don't even know what you call it, affinity, interest in a certain MC and their legacy. We're talking about none other than the great Nasir Jones. Nas is a very complicated MC as far as pop legacy, in my opinion. There's just so much. There's so much. There's so much to give him praise for, but then there's so much to be like. There's so much to be like, really? And because of that, it makes it easy or easier than most people to make wild claims or like claims that people think are wild, or to compare him to certain people and actually have a fair comparison. One of those comparisons has actually been brought up by my guy, Rex Numero. Now, this comparison you may find strange, but because it's Nas, it has some validity. It has some validity. Rex, explain what your premise is to the folks.
I mean, pretty much everybody is like better than Nas at this point. So it's like now we just throwing people out there to see like, yo, is this person better than Nas? And like, Lil B is one of the people that I just say, yo, Lil B might be better than Nas. So I'm like, as like our like, we gotta like, they gotta do a versus or something, bro. And like, I feel like Lil B, like he might actually beat Nas, Joe, because I feel like this nigga Lil B, like, probably gonna get the crowd jumping more than Nas. Like, Nas? Come on, nigga. Like,
I think it's funny how Nas is kind of synonymous with like like a boring time in rap or something. Like, you really about to throw on some Nas right now? Like, it just seems like it's never the right time to play a Nas record to be. But
like, people would rather hear One Time Suit than like anything that Nas.
I think I was going to go to. That's the only thing that came to my head.
So Trey, you feel differently, is what you're saying.
I mean, I don't even have words for this topic. It's absurd, yo.
Now, granted, Lil B, I'll say this. Like, Lil B has to hip hop. Like, there's a lot of people who are walking around who are like low-key sons of Lil B. Like that.
And that's true. But Lil B versus Nas, man, come on, man. Like, you'd be better off just saying, was Lil B more impactful on this generation than Nas? And you might be like, yeah, you know, because his style and the way the songs don't make sense, but it was still catchy. And all that. I mean, I had songs on, back in the day when I had an iPod Touch and I had his songs on my iPod and all that, because it was funny. It was catchy. He was saying wild stuff, but it went hard for like no reason. It was like some Adult Swim type, like, some Eric. It was like some Eric Andre show type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see it fitting in that world because it wasn't supposed to make sense, and he knew. Lil B knew that. Even though Lil B can actually rap.
Lil B's nice at rapping, yeah.
Which is crazier that he can actually rap, but he chose not to. He just chose to make noises and say swag all the time and just say, I just fucked your bitch. And other people built on it, but did he not lay the literal actual foundation of hip hop music from that moment going forward? Literally every song that you've heard from then on has some element of what Lil B did in that period of time. It does, only because most of his songs were just ad-libs. And so everybody does that now. Even though Soulja Boy takes credit for like Lil B, but that's absurd too, because Soulja Boy is just Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. He just takes whatever's near him and takes it as his own. But like,
Soulja Boy has a part in contributing.
I mean, he has some part in it, but it's to a very small extent. Don't believe nothing Soulja Boy tells you. He's on drugs. But Lil B,
he removed the space stats. Y'all saw that though? He removed his fake tattoos. He removed his
Yes.
tattoos, like they're gone.
I mean that's
Damn.
wrong because he's 30 now and he looks stupid with a Gucci logo on his face. He's not Gucci Mane or the owner of Gucci, but but Lil B does have an impact on like how the way like the rappers like who's my guy with like the hot Cheeto Takis for like his hair. What's my guy's name? He's from like Cleveland or something like that. Light skinned dude from like Ohio. He got like hot Takis.
Trippy Red.
Trippy Red. Like somebody like him. He's
I
like,
don't even associate with him with Cleveland for some reason.
But like but it's you can see an influence on somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like it sounds like noise, but it's like catchy to some people.
But I mean, to me, before you even get to Trippy, like that's an influence on Chief Keef. You know what I'm saying? Like before even Trippy, like, and then he inspired everybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he literally like is the base. Like before him, there's no other. After him is all sons of Lil B. And I'm not even a huge fan of Lil B. Like I barely listen to Lil B. I know him from the pack. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when I listen to Lil B. I didn't even listen to solo Lil B like that. But I can see the impact like that, like the cooking dance, the dancing and all that type, the swag ad-libs and stuff, the I fucked your bitch, that whole thing, like, bitch, I look like Justin Bieber, all that, that whole swag has literally been turned into what hip hop is. That's all it is.
Yo, I will say like it had a major impact, but it's not beginning and ending with Lil B. You still have the aspect of Nas in there. I'm gonna break down how the aspect of Nas is in there. You still have storytelling in rap, even though you still have the ad-libs like Lil B. You still have like kind of the vibe. I'm not writing stuff down. You still have people that can tell stories. You still have people that can kind of give a deeper understanding. Somebody could write something a little bit deeper. It's a merge of both, I want to say. I can't see too much similarities in what Lil B is known for and Nas. I can't say that they were directly related. I can't say that Lil B was influenced by Nas at one bit. It's different. But what I will say is hip hop, as what you hear it as a collective, you can hear both of them in it to a degree. Not everybody's going to sound like Nas, and everybody's going to fully sound like Lil B. You're going to have little blends of each of them. Everybody takes off with somebody else. Lil B definitely changed the game as far as like just not giving a fuck and like not giving a fuck and going for it with not giving a fuck, doing the energy. It was really big on energy. People had songs based on energy, but nobody had energy and just not give a fuck. Like that shit did not give a fuck, and I'm gonna go on this and say I just fucked your bitch, swag, shit like that. He made Soulja Boy come out with Pretty Boy swag. Yeah. That shit was rocking out, and that shit dropped, and it was like Soulja Boy kind of fell off a little bit. That shit dropped, and everybody in the club was like, "This right here is mine." You could cut the shit off. Everybody's gonna say swag. Shit's a problem. So you got to understand, like, yeah, Lil B was very major, very. I don't think he's looked at the same way that he really should be looked at. He's kind of, it's not on the same level, but the way they talk about early hip hop people where they don't have the money right now, where like Kool Herc's not as rich as Jay-Z for whatever reason, like maybe business reasons, but people that kind of like came up with hip hop don't have the amount of money, don't have the success, don't have the wealth that should come with it to a degree that came out of the whole genre. Lil B really opened the door. I don't think Lil B's like shit broke, but I doubt Lil B has the same amount of money as everybody that kind of bit off his style a little bit. They're not till he never came to that level. We're having #1 albums and shit like that. Right. So like Lil B kind of, he is a pioneer just on aspects of that, where when you're a pioneer, it's so different. Nobody's ready to hear it. People that get it, they get it. And then somebody that gets it translates it for the world. So people translated Lil B and made it for the world, and that's why everybody rocking with that joint. But like Lil B's still Lil B, and he's like a hip hop legend on the low.
That's a good point. That's definitely a good point.
I think Lil B shot himself in the foot because he was trying to be too controversial, like with the "I'm Gay" album.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's because he tried too hard. Like first, it was kind of like it's funny, and then not saying like the "I Gay" joint wasn't funny, but it was just kind of like. People were kind of like, come on, bro. Like, you know, people already had those issues in hip hop about where it was going. And then he kind of was like, what's your new album called? It was called I'm Gay. And then, but the album had nothing to do with any of that. It wasn't because people were like, "Oh, this might be like a new message in hip hop." Like it had nothing to do with any kind of progressive music or anything like that. Hard to call it that.
But check this. No, go ahead.
And the cover was supposed to be like a parody of like Marvin Gaye's actual album. Like, so he's like a double entendre. It's like, I'm gay, but this is Marvin Gaye. He was wild for that, and I didn't get it until later on. But I was like, it's clever, but you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to get the joke.
He's definitely wild for that. But he's influential in that as well, because if you fast forward and you got albums and artists like Tyler, the Creator, saying, you know, his album's called Flower Boy. You got people, you know what I'm saying, announcing basically that they are gay and then dropping albums, like for real. You got people like Lil Yachty having the two gay people kissing on the album. Like that allowed that, I mean, even though it wasn't as successful, but I mean like that move though made it okay so a lot of people can come after him and like Young Thug can get on and have a dress on the album cover, or like Young Thug could be naked on the album cover and stuff. And that would fly. And it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't as strange because Lil B had I'm Gay on the album already. You know what I'm saying? He already did some wild shit like that. So,
I think the difference is though, it's kind of like Lil B is like I said, he's like a parody. So it's kind of like it wasn't to be taken seriously. But when somebody like Thug comes out with like the dress on, or he ain't wearing no clothes on his rap album, or who else, like Tyler, the Creator, like they all make good music to an extent. But so when they do stuff that's kind of like, this is art, you know, that you know, people throw that around in hip hop that everything is art no matter what it is. But when they do it, it's like, but the music does sound good. See, when Lil B did it, everybody just thought it was like, you know, it's kind of like a joke. Like it's a
like you trolling.
Like it's a Hannibal Buress stand-up. Like nobody knows like if he's joking or he's being serious. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying Lil B knows that though, but people are going to pay attention to it at the time. But then, like you said, Our Future comes out. You know, Tyler, the Creator. I don't think he's gay. I think he trolls. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, you know, you got Our Future like Frank Ocean and all that. And then, like you said, Young Thug. You got Lil Nas X. Even though I wasn't surprised when he said he was. I didn't know if he was anything else. But
told you in the song if you listen close.
Son, I had heard of him before when the song came out because he used to be like some Nicki Minaj fan club writer or something like that. But that's on. Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna call him that, but
that's what he is. He's a barb.
He was a barb with the horses in the back.
I think it's just weird calling him that for some reason. To me, I don't know why. I was like, I'm gonna call him a barb.
Hey man,
I don't even know what that means.
Right, but
it means you're a fan of Nicki Minaj.
Right, exactly. But
Barbie.
But to somebody who actually makes really good music, all that other stuff just kind of looks like it's just part of the art. I mean, and Lil Yachty, they even said Lil Yachty had really nothing to do with the album cover. They said his label kind of came up with that, and he just kind of went along with it because that was going to get people talking. Because I don't think Lil Yachty kind of put in the thought process for any of that. Because Lil Yachty is pretty simple. Like, I don't think he really put in any kind of like thought to like, let's have two guys on the cover kissing and have the albino kid on the cover was going to have some.
That's true. He probably didn't choose that.
Like it's too much thought into that album cover for me to believe that Lil Yachty, the same nigga that came out with Minnesota and Peekaboo, a strip club anthem, when they made this album cover. Like, you know what I'm saying? Peekaboo is a strip club anthem, son. I still can't believe it. But
hey man, I can't believe that either. It's funny because I remember when it first came out, I literally laughed at the song.
First time peekaboo.
Like I was like, the fuck is this, bro? Seriously?
Like a radio set was in like Magic City, and this girl came up to me was doing this, but she was like twerking, was like, "No, that girl was doing this and all that." Like, and it caught me off guard because I was like,
I'm dead, bro. I'm dead.
There's certain songs, if you hear them in the strip club the first time, you just understand it differently. Like,
I heard a completely different experience in the strip club versus like hearing it like on YouTube or like on the radio. But here in the strip club, it went hard in the club, but like it just like caught me off guard. He's just saying peekaboo.
I mean, you gotta think about it. Different songs for different settings, man. And you know, like Lil Yachty and the QC crew. They're from Atlanta and they're in that strip club culture. So a lot of their songs probably will ring off in the strip club. That's what they know. You know what I'm saying? So in a versus battle, does Lil B win? Y'all feel that way, or does Nas win?
Oh, Lil B doesn't win that at all.
Hell
No,
no.
it's not discussion.
Son, y'all don't even know Lil B songs though.
We got Wonton Soup and Look Like Ted Dancing.
No, man, you gotta play the real songs, bro.
Do you play the pack too? Riding in my street and I see a pretty girl.
Oh, back when Tiger
I'm
was
talking
on
about Angels
I'm
Exodus.
in my car.
You know
Got my
what I'm
bands
saying?
on, but they look like
And they
sneakers.
look like sneakers,
Yeah,
my nigga. Come on,
yeah, do my thing, bitch. What's up? Bass God. Yeah, he came in with
Nobody even knows.
dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, he killed Lil Wayne.
You
on the
killed
track.
Wayne on the track. Oh, see?
Pants.
Nah, you know, I'm lying. You know what? Now that this nigga, now that
Little B is not
start
winning.
mentioning some stuff,
Little
I
B
can't
is not
lie.
winning. Yo,
He has a track where he bodied Wayne.
Little B might get one round.
It would be more of a, not Lil B. It would be more of a competition. You put like Tiger versus Nas than Lil B versus Nas. You gotta put another trash rapper who actually has hits.
This nigga said 187, bitch. I'll pull up
I'll put that to 11
with the tiny shirt and the tiny pants.
pants.
Like, yo, I mean, that's not the most lyrically complex thing in the world, but that's a wild.
What is that, sir? Like, how you
That's-
trash that he had no tiny pants and a tiny shirt?
But you got hit.
You
The
gotta
way
hear the
he
whole
said it,
verse.
the way he
Yeah.
said it, like he had to think about it. He said
Bruh,
Tiny shirts and the
187, bitch.
tiny
Tiny
pants.
pants.
Bro, all
No,
that shit is straight out of the Eric Andre show. Tiny pants, tiny shirt. Like,
Tidy shirt, the tidy pants.
Nah, I died laughing at that joke.
I never forget when Lil B posted like on Twitter that when he was in DC that he was walking through Surfing Quarter in tiny pants, and he really had like Gleason in with him. He was like walking through the hood with tiny pants on. He just swag with the tiny shirt on. Like I was like, yo,
hey man, he invented that shit, man. But you know, I don't know if he's better than Nas. But I'm gonna say this though.
His beat selection definitely better.
Nas
100%.
doesn't have a lot of songs. Like a lot of people can get Nas out of here in the versus battle. Like,
man, y'all need
they're
to.
not like
Y'all wildin'.
who can Nas beat in a versus battle? Honestly, though,
Son, y'all have to stop.
Little B.
Stop this. Y'all can't stop.
I don't know if he could beat
Yeah,
Lil B, Sam. Lil B play that Angels Exodus.
it'll
bro.
be tough. It'll be tough for him to beat Lil.
Angels Exodus was fire, Sam. Like
Lil
you
B
gotta
can compete.
respect
Lil B could compete.
No, he
Why do y'all
can't.
hate Nas so
it.
much?
He had them Clams Casino ASAP Rocky beats on there, bro.
I don't hate Nas, yo. I don't hate Nas at all.
Because you guys, this is like the fourth episode.
It's like a running theme. Like
It's a running thing. Like we could actually be having another discussion on a whole other thing. But we take time out of podcast about who's better than Nas, why Nas is trash, why is Lil B better than Nas? Like, bro.
You want to know why, though? You want to know why?
Son, did he not sign an autograph for you?
Like, he didn't win at one of y'all cousins. Y'all don't even want to talk about this thing.
Man, that's always like Stan, right? He's like, we was standing in the bush and said no.
Look, my thing is like, I respect Nas and everything. I just think he's overblown. I just really think people are not objective about his catalog. Like, he really has Stillmatic. I mean, he really has Illmatic.
Yeah, Stillmatic, and it was written too.
Nah,
Right.
he
Those
doesn't.
albums
Because
are
he
not
only has after that he only has If I Ruled the World. He has Ether. He has One Mic. He has Made You Look. And then what?
I gave you power.
I
You
gave
talking
him
about like
Anybody's getting
the message?
out the way in both of those songs are getting out
The
the
message?
battle. Yes.
Did you say hate me now? Did you say that?
Okay.
Didn't
Hate Me
say
Now.
that.
I didn't say hate me now. I did it. And that's my bad.
Yo, when Nas comes out and it says fake
That's like
love,
Nas'
no
best-
love, you get the slug, CB4, Gusto, you luck though.
Bro,
Bro,
anybody can get that out the way.
Remember
Anyone.
when Jadakiss had a versus? How did that go? The
He
same
got
way
Fab
Nas
out the
versus
way.
go.
He
The
got
same-
Fab
but-
out the way.
Is Jada the big like?
But
I
Jada
got the
can
pop
get
song coming
Nas out the way, though.
I don't know if Jada even say that.
Jada could get Nas out the way. Jada could get Nas out the way.
I don't know if Jada gonna say
I-
that.
It'll be competitive. It'll be competitive.
And Nas around the It Was Written time, yo, he had crazy opening verses, son. Like it was too hard. Like he said, fake thug, no love. You get the slug, see before gusto, I love though. Like,
okay,
son,
he said all that bullshit.
I haven't listened to that.
And you know what?
Years,
and you know what? You know what
remember.
Biggie said? You know what Biggie said? Ain't no other kings in this rap thing. They siblings. Nothing but my children. One shot, they just he got rid of that whole shit Nas said in 4 bars, my nigga. Trust me, son. Nas is not getting nobody out the way with the message in a verse.
Son, Nas got plenty people out the way. Son, he bodied Raekwon and Ghostface on verbal intercourse in the first verse, and it was a verse from his notebook. He didn't write a verse for the song. He pulled out the notebook and just went through and picked something and just put it on the track, son. That's how, son. Ghost and Ray had the right verses for that joint. This nigga Nas went through the notebook from high school and pulled out a verse and put it on verbal intercourse. He was too nice back then, son. Even when he was on the he was on the Mobb Deep joint, son, and he just went hard, son.
Yo, we was listening to that Mobb Deep song, son. Yo, that Mobb Deep song was trash, man.
Which Mobb
We was just listening to that joint the other day, yo.
Which one? Which one you talking about?
Prodigy had the best verse on that song, son.
Prodigy had the best verse on
the joint where he copied the hook from he stole the hook from somebody. Who he stole?
Oh, when he did the Brandy Monica joint, the boy is mine, but he flipped it to he did some fuck shit. And I was like, oh, come on. That's creativity in hip hop that you're talking about.
I'm talking about back around the It Was Written era when Nas was just going hard for no reason. That nigga said, I got out the airport, the mom picked me up in the truck, the jewelry chunky like fuck, I ain't scared to get stuck, so what's the deal, Poppy? You heard the feds almost got me? I had the Cuban posse all up in my room and lobby, negotiating like a Illuminati network to catch a body expert into the Falcon Network. Yo, he was going too hard for no reason.
I can't lie, that was a hard verse.
You're going to play the whole Illmatic on top of that.
That nigga,
I love Illmatic.
About being in the Trump Towers.
I'm just saying, after Illmatic, and if you want to throw some It Was Written, like he's really drowning against anybody. Like
Made You Look.
Who is that?
Hate Me Now.
Is that beating anybody though? Hate Me Now may beat somebody. Hate Me Now.
Yo, Made You Look is the problem. You're hating on Made You Look.
Made You Look.
I'll give you Made You Look. I'll give you.
You gotta understand. What did Little Flip say when they were shooting? He said they're shooting. Like Nas said. Why? Because Nas said they shooting. I made you look. Niggas actually looked when he said they shooting.
I mean,
what?
Look, I'll be real. Nas has some joints. I just don't think he doesn't have 20. He doesn't have 20 to compete with a big time real person that they put at the caliber of his name. Like he's not beating LL Cool J. He's from Queens.
LL Cool J been rapping forever.
Okay, he's not beating.
LL Cool J's been rapping since crack was new.
Okay, he's not beating Jay-Z.
Right, it was the new drug. Oh no, nobody's beating Jay-Z.
Jay-Z's a different type of artist.
A whole different.
That's in his peer. That's his literal peer.
They're different types of artists. Like,
could he beat Biggie if Biggie was still alive? And Biggie only had 2 albums. Could he beat Biggie?
I want to say Biggie would beat Jay-Z if he was still alive.
No, that's impossible.
Yes, it would.
I don't know.
Biggie stopped that.
What was that Biggie line you just said about no other kings, everybody's siblings?
Now that's the truth. But this is the thing.
Okay.
This is the difference between Nas and Jay.
Think about this.
Post Biggie dying, Jay actually assumed the position of being the king and put out the output that made him work with it.
You got to think about this.
Did not. He didn't do it.
Now let's go back to this Biggie Jay thing. What double albums did Jay put out?
Blueprint 2.
Anything else?
Nah, I don't think
Was
so.
Blueprint 2 on the same level of Life After Death?
No.
Blueprint 2 on the same. Hold on. Was Blueprint 2 on the same level? Although you don't like mentioning this guy.
No, it's not. It's not. I already know what you're. I know what you're talking about. Tupac. No, it's not. Those are the 2 greatest double discs in hip hop history, though. Like, period, all time. No one has even come close.
You're telling me if these people were still alive, because a lot of Tupac albums came out after he died. These are his throwaway songs. The songs that he didn't go
Tupac could beat Jay.
I don't think Biggie would have put out as many albums as Jay did. Like Jay was putting out a hit album every summer,
and that's why I think Jay wins.
And that's the one thing I give him. What Jay did is unheard of. Like you can't have a hit every summer. Nobody does that anymore. Like I give him that though. Like I don't think
Drizzy.
Nobody can have a versus with Jay-Z. And see, that would be the versus that actually becomes a competition. Jay will want people to boo or cheer because that wouldn't be a friendly battle because Jay was like, y'all know I have more hits. He has a hit every summer. About 14 albums and has at least 14 hits. It's over. Like nobody can compete with Jay. I don't think there is no. Even if Biggie was still alive, I don't think Biggie's career would have lasted. Well, actually, I can't say that because Biggie was already here. And it was
the thing is, we don't know because they passed. Like we can't really project. It's tough.
I can't project.
You gotta look at Biggie's last album when he was living was Life After Death, and how did that turn out?
That drum was crazy, but there's a lot of people who had like great albums and then fell off like right after that. Like we just don't know what would have happened with Biggie.
Right.
Anything could happen. Like we just have no idea.
You gotta understand, like he had Junior Mafia. How did that turn out when it was?
I mean, they was bubbling, but again,
they had some when he was
but
there.
Would he still be here in 2020 though? Like, would he have dropped in 2010? Would he have dropped in 2000? Like,
he might not have dropped over those years, but what he would have dropped in that time frame when he was the guy would have been legendary. Because it was legendary already. You got to think about it. With 2 albums, it was legendary. There's a third album where it has some big songs and dope songs on there, but he's not living at that point.
I'll say this though. If you listen to both of those albums, there's a clear difference in the two. The first one, Ready to Die, shows that hungry MC, like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn, like, I'm giving it to you for real. Like, that's Ready to Die. Life After Death, to me, is very polished, very like I'm becoming a star type shit. Kind of less about like I'm really raw with it, and more so I'm going to the glitz and glam. And that was kind of like his progression to me, and to me it looked like he would lose a little bit of that appetite and that hunger for like that like real rap type shit or whatever, and he just probably like relax a little. To me it looked like Biggie was gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna drop like a couple fire albums and then chill.
Biggie said he was gonna step away though. He said like he's like, I'm just gonna drop this and I'm gonna leave it to these dudes now. Like he said like he probably was gonna do like another album. That might have been it. Like he's just been doing features and shit.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what he wanted to do. But Diddy wasn't having that. It was either you make albums or sit in the back. Straight.
Hey, yo, Diddy's still not having that. That nigga still dropping albums. My nigga, that nigga, the Biggie do what?
I'm saying, like, Diddy is like, you're going to drop
Biggie do what?
Like shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it should be. It should be Diddy versus Jay. Or it should be like, because he the one that hits. You know what I'm saying? You know what? It would work too, because if Diddy produced all the hits, he can be like, well, I own these hits. I'm going to put them up against anything Jay put out.
But he could play Jay-Z songs in that case. He executive produced some Jay-Z albums, Volume 1, the, what's the other one, American Gangster? Like, I mean, LL Cool J the other night was talking to, I think it was Fat Joe, maybe?
It's not a good battle. Like,
he was
LL
talking
Cool
to...
J, I don't think that's good. I think
he asked for Jay. He asked for Jay.
I think he did ask for Jay.
LL and Jay would be nice.
LL asked for Jay.
That would be nice.
Jay-Z would be better than Fat Joe. I mean, Fat Joe kind of bigs himself up like he's had like 20 different hits when there's only like 3 I can name for Fat Joe. Like, I don't know.
Hold up.
Don't do that. Don't do that to Fat Joe. Don't do that to Fat Joe.
Wildin'.
I mean, all the way up is recent, but I mean, you gotta go
with Flojo.
Flojo, yeah. Flojo, What's Love?
All right.
I mean, Sacha is not his, but his.
All right, okay, I'll say, you know what?
Lean back.
Get in the middle a little. I mean, he's not on the song, but he was in there.
Lean Back. He was on New York.
Lean Back, New York.
That's not his song.
We taking over.
He was on it, and they're playing them joints. They playing songs that people on.
That's what I'm saying. This whole versus thing don't make no sense. It gotta be your song. If the niggas playing features, niggas like, yo, I was on this joint. they play. You might as well play the first Coward joint. What's the first Coward joint that? Well, I love me, baby. You might as well like,
yo,
hey, that joint was hard, my nigga. Wayne went in on that joint. Wayne went in on that joint. Can't lie.
I love me, baby. What he do?
And Paul Wall and Pitbull. Pitbull was on the posse track with Wade and
Yo,
Oh, y'all remember that?
No.
who would Pitbull be in the verses with?
Jay-Z. You know,
Man.
Pitbull probably got hits for days, and we don't even know they're not even in English.
I was about to say Pitbull will body in it. It would be Pitbull versus Flow Rider. And Pitbull will body.
Yo, I don't want to hear Flow Rider at all.
No,
I forgot about Flow Rider.
I'm good. I'm not listening.
To me, they're compatible.
I opt out.
Pitbull versus Jay-Z. I would listen to that. Just because I don't know, because Pitbull seems like he has a hit every year, and I don't know what it is.
He put on that white suit. Killing it, yeah.
Like shit.
Dale.
Pitbull always got a hit. It's always something like, "Mommy, mommy."
I mean, that's a real literal like Pitbull song.
But then ask her, yeah.
I mean, but you gotta think about it. I mean, Pitbull got some tracks that'll ring off. Like that Kulo joint. You play Kulo, that joint.
Yeah.
That joint ring
Early
off.
Pitbull joints is probably.
Early Pitbull joints are famous. He got Damn It Man and Toma. He got some joints, man.
Kulo, yeah, Kulo. That was my shit back in the day.
That used to be the joint though, before niggas really knew his shit. Like that shit was hard. Then he blew up, and now he's like a super pop star.
He's like, yeah, I didn't expect him to blow up the way he did, though.
I don't think anybody did, to be honest, except for him, probably. But yeah, man. Interesting hip hop discussion. We will always further investigate Nas's place in history. So continued on the conversations, but this is how we're gonna end it off tonight. Another top 5 that we're gonna be discussing. This top 5 ventures into the animated world, and specifically the adult animated world. We're going to try to name each of our top 5 adult cartoons. Who would like to start with their list? Because I think it's going to be tough. Who has a 5 already that they're willing to share?
I got a 5 that's ready. They're not in order. I feel like maybe 1 or 2 of these are going to be on some other people's lists. Some of them you're going to look at me like, what are you talking about? But I got to say straight up how I feel. First one I'm going to name is probably not on anybody's list, should be on everybody's list. The Simpsons. The Simpsons are a show that you can watch as a kid. You'll die laughing. You watch as an adult and you hear jokes. And it's like, I didn't notice Homer was saying this. Like, it's all kinds of wild shit. The Simpsons low-key are one of them like shows. It's like a holy grail. South Park did an episode where the Simpsons did it. They've been on forever. They're still on TV. They're saying the Simpsons are predicting the future. You gotta look into Simpsons. Like, they're low-key one of them shows. My next show I'm gonna mention, Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy is like a kid's show that is not kids appropriate. Like, it's the wildest shit ever, son. I seen Ren and Stimpy, like I bought some Ren and Stimpy because I was like, yo, I gotta get back into Ren and Stimpy. It's funny as hell. Did not know they had an extreme adult version of Ren and Stimpy. Yo, I seen one episode where one of them was playing a pitcher, the other one was playing a catcher. He threw the ball into his ass, and that shit was wild as hell. Like, I was crying, laughing. I had to cut the shit off, son. Like, that shit had me going. Like, I had to cut it off. I was screaming, laughing. Like, I had a moment.
That sound wild.
That had me out. I wasn't ready, young, but like, I'm gonna name the rest of my joints because I had a moment right there. I was about to die laughing at that joint. Yo, King of the Hill. King of the Hill has me gone beyond anything. Man. Like, that giant, like, Boomhauer. Boomhauer says the wildest shit under his breath. The little mumble shits he say, ridiculously, like, funny as hell. I got a newer show that's on my list. F is for Family. F is for Family is funny as hell. So
Are you putting that up there already?
Yo, they had an episode in their last season where they followed the black family. That episode in itself got into my list. Like, that.
This nigga became alderman, my nigga.
Yes.
Yo,
like that shit made it to my list off of that.
I can't even hate on you. I can't even hate on that, bro. I can't hate on that.
I gotta round it out with the Boondocks. The Boondocks is legendary. It's classic. I'm not gonna fake like I don't watch it as much as I did in the past, but it was really big when it came out to me. The last season wasn't that great. the new whatever is supposed to come out, I'm not really hyped for it. But those first 3 seasons, you got to put the Boondocks on the list for the first 3 seasons.
That was a great list, though. I definitely like that list. All of those joints I love that you mentioned. I definitely love the shout out to F is for Family because that's like I guess a semi-new one. It's been on for a little while. But like, I don't know. I thought I was like the only one on this pod who even watched F is for Family, like for real. And I fuck with Bill Burr as like a comedian in general. So, but that's hard. That's kind of hard. But people do fuck with that joint. And that episode was like, that joint's a classic. If y'all haven't seen it, check that joint out for sure. Who wants to go next with their list?
I'll go.
Okay.
So, number 1, I got South Park because I watch that almost every day when I'm in the house. It never gets old. Like watching like Randy wild out on something like when he bought a Blockbuster and nobody was showing up. They turned into like The Shining and all that. You know, it was haunted. You know, the games they come out with, like the South Park, the video game, the Fractured Butthole. You know what I'm saying? And like the difficulty of the game changes based on what your race is. So like if you pick to be a black character, it's on the hardest difficulty setting. And the game is actually difficult if you actually like. It's not even bullshit. Like you pick a black person, the game is like that much difficult to get through. I almost beat it though. I'm this close to beating it. But you know, and the black character's name on the show, even though he's like, what's funny is that he's the richest character on the show. His family has money, but his name is Token Black. Yeah, like that show was crazy. It's hilarious. Everything they do is just wild for no reason.
And
you know, it has
inappropriate.
where it's like very pause-worthy moments, but I can't help but start like crying, laughing at it when it happens though, like because you never expect it.
They are a show that goes there, man. Like
it always goes there. It's some wild stuff. Like I had to turn it off yesterday because it was like a scene where like Cartman was.
I'm about.
Now I'll go ahead and finish.
Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, South Park was number 1. Number 2, I got The Simpsons because Simpsons is crazy. I watched that. I usually watch seasons 5 all the way through probably season 10 or 11. And I know every episode like by heart. Like it's crazy. Especially my favorite character is Ralph, who's like Chief Wiggum's son, who's like retarded. I know that's not politically correct to say anymore, but it was back then. So I'm saying it, you know, in retrospect, he was slow. And like I remember one episode they threw him through a window with a note attached to him, and he said he was a brick.
Yeah.
That joint had me cracking up. But yeah, The Simpsons is number 2. Number 3. Oh man, it's probably King of the Hill, because King of the Hill was wild, especially for like somebody like Hank Hill who's like real uptight, and he's like that old school Republican Texan. You know, he think his son is strange for being different. You know, he got the redneck friends. One is a conspiracy theorist, one is a lazy army barber, and the other one is like Boomhauer. You know, nobody knows what he does for a living. You know, everything is just wild. Like, and it's probably like the realest adult animated cartoon because it really just looks like a sitcom, but it's just animated. It's like a lot like a sitcom, but it's animated. So that joint, you know, King of the Hill. Number 4, I have to say probably Futurama. And Futurama is like, it's not as funny as The Simpsons, but it has like these wild moments that just come out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Especially with like my favorite character on that joint is like Hermes, the Jamaican accountant. He's like, you know, this nigga is like hilarious and all that. He's always saying, "Cutting me banana," and all these like stereotypes of like a Jamaican. He was like, "Oh, God bless my grandma's zombie bones," and all this crazy stuff. Like, yeah. And what I have is number 5, bro. Number 5 is tough. I don't want to say Family Guy. You know, you know what? It's probably American Dad. I probably put American Dad as number 5 because I think I watched that more. I go back to American Dad more than I do Family Guy because American Dad actually was consistently funny. And especially the scenes where they got Steve singing like he's a member of like New Edition or something like that. Like they always got episodes with that in there. And you know, and Roger the alien who's always like wilding out every episode.
Roger's a wild.
Whether he's trying to kill
Klaus is wild.
Or he's joking about, they said Roger like opened up a bank account and instead of putting money in it, he raped his checkbook or something like that. right. It's just the show is just crazy. But yeah, I think those are my top 5.
That's an interesting 5 right there. I'm gonna say for my 5, it's gonna be tough to narrow it down to 5 because I got a lot of them that I fuck with. Like I be watching adult cartoons. Like I literally be blazed and I be watching my adult cartoons. Like the joints be funny, but man, to go to top 5. Okay. My top 5 is gonna be a little unorthodox, but I'm gonna go for it. Okay. One in there, I am gonna put Family Guy in there. Family Guy to me is hilarious and has very classic, hilarious episodes. And I think as far as a adult cartoon of all time, its place, I just feel like Simpsons was like the crown jewel, and then like it was like, yo, how do you follow Simpsons? And then Family Guy was there. You know what I'm saying? And Family Guy held that joint down. And like, you know, they had an interesting style of comedy in their shows, I thought. Their cast is hilarious. I like the different aspects of their cast. Like, you know, you got Brian the dog, obviously. You know, they always going on Meg. You know what I'm saying? Peter is his own, like, fucking show. Then you got, like, you know, the neighbors. You got Quagmire, who's just, like, the infamous, like, nigga was just fucking everything that walks. You know what I'm saying? But he also, like, has all the STDs, but he's immune. Like, that's a wild thing. Got the black guy who lives like across the street. You know, this fan. You got Joe who's in the wheelchair. They just got all kinds of like wild adventures that they have. So, you know, Family Guy, I'm gonna put there in my list. Okay. I'm gonna put. Okay, now this one is gonna start being curveball type shit. Now, some of these are also like my personal type favorite joints. You know what I'm saying? But they also do kind of matter all time. My absolute favorite and the one that I think is the best all time is BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman, to me, like from beginning to end as a series, like it just wrapped up its most recent, like the ending series or whatever. I just think from top to bottom, that's like not only like hilarious, but it just weaves in so many different aspects of like society, of like Hollywood, like the way they have everybody as an animal in the show and how all the animals kind of take on the personalities of like their actual animal counterparts. And like the story that they weave in between it, like it's a horse who's like a drunk alcoholic. Like, it's just wild, man. A drunk alcoholic horse who just doesn't give a shit about anybody. He's an asshole. He's a jerk. Very funny. If you haven't watched BoJack Horseman, I promise you, watch that joint. You will feel the same. It is like literally like the best show ever. 3, obviously this is in no particular order. I'm just going into some wild shit. 3 is
right now.
A very recent one. And I think it's pretty hilarious. It's slightly inappropriate and may feel a little off-putting when you watch it. I can't lie. I felt all of those ways. But it's still fucking hilarious. Big Mouth. If y'all never seen Big Mouth on Netflix, yo, that joint is fucking hilarious. It's like borderline like weird because it's like little children going through like their adolescence and like discovering their sexuality and going through puberty and stuff. But it's hilarious because of just like the different concepts in it and things that you remember when you were like back in those times and going through those things and then having the hormone monsters and shit. Like, it's a very interesting concept of a show. Like, it just pushes the boundaries like in a way that a lot of adult shows don't even go for. Because it's like, it's an adult show, but it's high schoolers basically like in the show. So, I mean, it's very interesting. So I'll put that in there. So that's 3. 4, a big one nowadays that's kind of taking over right now is one that I watch pretty frequently is Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is like a real big show right now. I feel like out of the adult shows, that might be like one of the top ones in today's day and age. And like, again, more things with it pushing the boundaries. Like, it built on some of the ones that you guys mentioned like earlier, you know, like The Simpsons and things like that, and the, you know, Family Guys and those things of the world. But it just kind of, adds in different elements. It makes it more modern for today. It brings in like space travel and, different dimensions and, different type of, life and things like that and societal rules. And like, as they travel to these different things and get into these different situations and stuff like that, it's just funny to see how, you can play on different type of worlds and different sets of rules and just funny ass situations that like seem almost endless because of the type of show that they have. And like, to be honest, it's on like season 4 or 5 right now. And it's like still hilarious and they're still coming up with new shit. And, they're really good about like tying in like older jokes and stuff, doing a lot of callbacks and stuff like that. So that's dope. I'll put that at 4. And then 5. Oh man, 5 is tough for me because there's a lot of stuff I could like put on the list. I want to put Boondocks there. I think Boondocks to me is like top 5. Like to me, you can't not put Boondocks there. What it just meant for the culture and just what it means as an adult cartoon and how that also puts the boundaries. But like, if I want to give some honorable mentions, obviously Simpsons is going to be in there. South Park's going to be there. F is for Family is going to be there. Futurama is going to be there. But yeah, that's my 5, man. That's my 5. Rex, you got
fuck with that list.
You fuck with it? It's a little different, but just to try not to, obviously, the big ones are like the big ones, you know what I'm saying? But just to give some love to some other joints that I feel are like actually in that conversation as well. You know what I'm saying? I think those joints are there.
True.
Rex, you got a 5?
I mean, it's pretty much like all the shows that y'all just named. I think I do like American Dad better than Family Guy now. Like, I used to like Family Guy better, but American Dad got way funnier lately. Yeah, and like Rick and Morty is definitely up there, and of course The Simpsons. I don't know why I like Futurama more than I like The Simpsons, which is weird.
I agree,
but I just thought, I don't know, Futurama was just like funnier to me for some reason. Now the old Simpsons, like you go back to like season 3, 4, like 5, like those episodes of The Simpsons are hilarious, yeah. Like all the like the older episodes, bro. If you go back and watch them giants are funny as shit. But yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, Boondocks. All them joints that came on Adult Swim for real. Just like.
Are there any other ones though, like in your mind that stick out, like outside of the ones that we named? Since I mean, of course, those are like kind of almost universal. Is there any other ones that like you watch or that you just think are dope in general that like you fuck with that you want to mention?
Black Dynamite was hilarious. Even though they only had 2 seasons, they had to shut that joint down. That joint was just way out of control.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But yeah, Black Dynamite was funny. I'm trying to think. Oh, what was that show with the niggas? They was under the sea. Shit. Sea Lab 2020. Yeah, bro. Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, I'm not even hip to Sea Lab.
What? Sea Lab was funny as shit. Oh my god, bro. That ain't dumb as shit, bro. That nigga Captain Murphy, bro. Yo, that nigga Captain Murphy used to wild out, bro, son. When that nigga declared martial law, bro, it was an episode where he declared martial law, but he was calling it Martian law, son. And that nigga was just going around knighting everybody with like the little pole and shit, yeah. He was like, I knight you, Sir Phobos. He's like, here's your pole, go kick some ass, yeah. And these niggas was just going around just kicking everybody's ass with the poles, yeah. That joint was fun. Yo, I highly recommend y'all go back and watch Sea Lab.
Okay.
That joint funny, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
It's called Sea Lab 2020?
21.
2021. 2020 was the original one. It was like a real show. Yeah.
And this is an old show?
No,
yeah, it used to come on Cartoon Network, bro.
Yeah, 2021 is the adult version that came on the original Adult Swim back in the day. C-Lab 2020 is the original cartoon, kids cartoon that came out back in like the 60s or the 70s or something. So it's like, it's kind of like how they did Space Ghost. How Space Ghost was a real cartoon, but then they did Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Or
it was like a parody jank.
I'm actually mad that you mentioned Space Ghost now, because then I would have.
Oh, and Aqua Teen
Space Ghost.
Oh yeah, Aqua Teen.
That's a good one that nobody mentioned.
Shit, bro.
That's a good one that nobody mentioned.
Funny as hell, bro. That nigga Carl, bro. Like, they always be in this nigga pool and shit, bro. He be like, get the fuck out my pool. Yeah, he was like,
Did y'all ever watch, I only watched like a few episodes. Every once in a while when it got late and it was just on like Squidbillies.
Yo, Squidbillies was funny. It wasn't funny as Aqua Teen, though.
It was actually kind of funny. Squidbillies was actually kind of funny.
It was funny when they had the episode with Tim Tebow, and they was calling that nigga Tom Trebo. He was like, yo, he's like, Tom Trebo coming to my school, yeah. He's like,
Tom Trebo.
That nigga was funny, bro. Well, yeah, all them Jays was funny for real, saying. Aqua Teen was just like that. That's the one that kind of stands out to me now. I think about it because they had a whole movie, and like,
they had a movie that came out in theaters,
and it was big. Yeah, they were big. And that's crazy that none of us mentioned it until that point. But that they were big, man. And then they got the theme song.
Yo, son, the Flying Lotus one that they did, bro. Like, they remixed the theme song with Flying Lotus, bro. That joint was so hard, bro.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Adult cartoons definitely have an interesting place in society. Like, it's strange because it's like it's a cartoon. It's supposed to be for children, I guess, like cartoons typically. But then, but it's an animated, but it's an adult situation, adult type of language and things like that. That's just a very interesting dynamic to me that something like that exists, and watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we have reached the end of our conversation for today. But does anybody have any last words that they want to leave the people with before we sign off until we see them next week?
I guess I can go. Basically, try to keep your mind right. Try to stay focused. If something's bothering you, speak out. You know what I mean? If you feel a little weird, you feel like you can't do this anymore, you're feeling bothered, speak out. Let somebody know. Talk to somebody. As much as like there's certain people I'd rather not have conversations with, certain people that might have annoyed me in the past. I'm not talking about like family, but outside of family, even acquaintances, old coworkers. I'd rather somebody I couldn't stand at work or I used to work or couldn't stand called me than did something to themselves that they couldn't really undo later on. So like, in essence, try to keep your mind right. If you're still having trouble with that, seek help.
That's some real words. Anyone else?
Yeah, the same thing, man. Just, keep your mind right. Try to stay active if you can. It gets tough some days, it gets, if you don't have people around you to talk to, you got the internet, everything ain't all negative and crazy on the internet. You can, form new relationships virtually. That way, that's how a lot of people doing it right now. And this will, end at some point. We don't know when, but it has to at some point. These things don't last forever. And just stay positive. Don't get so consumed with, social media and the news, because like somebody told me, they were like, they ain't watching the news until they say a vaccine is past trial and it's ready to go. So, and it's nothing new has really happened in the last thing, and thank God, sports is back, or at least the NBA where they safe. So at least we know that's going to be around a little bit longer. Actually, that was the most normal I felt in the last few months when the NBA was on last night. I
feel you, man. That was much needed.
I was about to take a picture of it and post on Instagram just to be like, yo, it's here. But yeah, man, just try to keep yourself sane and, stay positive, keep focused on something. Don't let your mind wander too far.
Word life. Rex, what you got to say to the people?
just gotta stay high and live your life, you know what I'm saying? And stay greening. Niggas try to get at me. Dog.
Stay green. All day, man. All day. And for me, man, I'm gonna just sign y'all off with man, make sure that y'all are, being mindful of the foods you eat and taking care of your body, man. Be as healthy as possible. Just because you're in a quarantine doesn't mean that you're sedentary, man. You can get up, you can take a walk, you can do some aerobics inside your crib, you know what I'm saying? Get that heart rate pumping a little bit, push-ups, sit-ups, all that good stuff. Make sure you're eating good foods, man, not just eating all the junk foods and stuff like that. And the Lakers, RIP Mamba. And we'll see y'all next week. Holla back.
Shockbooks Media.